Hey, y'all. Hey, everyone. You changed your name? M.M. Latte? Girl, I was going to say, who is that? Latte, girl. Girl, you had me confused for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute, who is that? Wait, I got to know him. They got a wrench. Oh, my Lord, Latte, girl, you got me laughing. Oh, hey, Miss Shirley. Hey, everybody. I was going to say, well, who the hell is that? That was funny. You got me on that one, sis. That's okay. I knew it was you by the MM though. But it threw me off for a minute. It did. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday? Hold on, y'all. Let me just turn my other device down for a second. I hope y'all is doing great. Oh my God. Hold on, y'all. Come on. All right. Wait a minute, y'all. I gotta get this sun out my eye. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. I was trying to catch up on that Scott case too. So that's what I was doing some this morning, catching up on that case. With her. Hey Brittany, good afternoon, Royalty. Happy Tuesday to you too. Yes. Thank God for another day, right, people? God gave us another day. Did some of y'all see my community wall I put up yesterday after my live? Ooh, child, I tell you. Yes, honey. Yep, so I hope everybody's having a good day. So, hold on. All right. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much, Brittany, for saying that. I appreciate that, love. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yep. So before we get started, y'all, let's all put up praying hands for Ramika. And I'm gonna before I end my live, I got a content creator that I want y'all to go follow her content. Oh yeah, you saw that, Brittany? Yeah, I was catching up on that story this morning. I was catching up on it while I was doing stuff around the house. So sad. Oh yes, Brittany, please. I wish you just go away. Like, just go away. Leave my channel alone. Don't even be in the bushes. Don't look. Don't nothing. Just go away. I don't like evil spirits connected with my channel, with me, with nothing. Just fly away. But I prayed on it last night. Yes, I did, honey. I definitely prayed on it last night, child. Yes, sometimes we gotta pray about things. I always tell God, keep the evil away from me, evil spirits and all of that. Just keep it away from me, honey, because I can't take it. And Brittany, if you can, could you put her channel, her link in the comments for me, please? If you can find her channel, you can put it in the comments so people can go and follow her. Y'all, she's a great supporter. She's trying to get her channel up. She's definitely for Ramika, 100%, 1,000%. I give her that. Um, um, Brittany gonna drop her link in the chat. I did tell her I would support her, and hey, Auntie, I did say I would support her. Yes, Brittany. Yes, baby doll. Yes. Because I'm in support of her because I have been following her throughout this whole case. And she's staying her own lane, she mind her business. And they're trying to really get her channel taken down on Facebook. And she's trying to build her channel up on YouTube. So she's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if y'all could y'all help her get there. I did speak to her this morning on inbox and tell her I will be shouting out her channel. So if y'all can support her on her journey. Because she did say they keep reporting her page on Facebook. If Facebook is more stricter than YouTube, very, very strict. So and she has been really, really doing a great job. I got to give her credit. She really has. She's really has been doing a really, really, really great job in supporting Ramika. So I did tell her I would help her get her supporters up. So as soon as Brittany dropped the link, y'all can click on the link and y'all can support her channel. Brittany gonna go get the link and bring it over. Then we'll get started. Because I don't mind, I've been following her, her Facebook since, this started with Ramika, and she's been doing a really, really great job. She really have. She's been doing a really great job. Yeah, Brittany just dropped her link, y'all. So if y'all can click on her link and go and support her YouTube channel, try to help her get to 1,000. I think she's like 300 and something now. Yeah. She said, yes, the Chicago Police Department need to hire you all. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for supporting her. I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much. Yes. She has been doing an excellent job. She come up with nice videos and, put them in her own little words and put little songs behind it. She's been doing a great job. I got to give it to her. She has been doing a really, really great job. And she said they keep coming after her Facebook. And, I think after a certain amount of times, if your Facebook keep getting reported, they'll shut it down. So everybody just try to click on the link and go and support her channel. Her channel is in the link in the comments. Brittany just put her channel. So just click on her channel and subscribe to her channel. Yes, she have. And they wrong for posting her. Yeah, they be saying some mean stuff about her too. But she says she ain't letting up. That's what she said. She says she's not letting up. She says she's for the family and stuff. And I felt bad for him. Like, damn, that's crazy. That's why I don't got no Facebook like that. Because I know you can't be a content creator over there and try to do right over there. And if you really for somebody and people is not for them, they will start supporting your doing your page like that. 777, where you been? I've been looking for you, girl. Hey, Brittany Taylor. Yeah, so y'all support her channel and everything. Brittany post her channel. Y'all go over there and show us some love. And I would definitely get Brittany to reach out to her today to let her know that I did promote her channel. So she can get to her 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, she can start doing some content over there. That's why I don't want to be no content creator on Facebook. Nah, not dealing with stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're like, I don't know, it's just Facebook is just kind of crazy to me. They believe anything there. I don't know. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you. I've been watching from my TV, so I didn't chat. But okay, baby. Okay. Because I was wondering when you been. And y'all, what's the lady name? Because I can't remember her name. What is the lady name that used to come on the panel, y'all? The one that used to drive, and she was working while she was driving. I haven't seen her. I hope she's okay, because I haven't seen her. But I hope she always come on the panel and show me love. Hey, Roya D in chat. Hey, baby, how are you? I just subscribed. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, y'all. Yeah, so I was just thinking about her. I don't know where she been, but I hope she's okay and stuff. So yeah, y'all support her. She breaks stuff down, and she just make sure she stay on Ramika K. She does. Hey, Miss D, how are you doing today? I'm doing great, baby. How are you? Next week, y'all, I might take 3 days off next week to give myself a break. Because sometimes, as a content creator, you really need it, y'all. You really have to, take breaks sometimes. You really do. Because sometimes this stuff can be, ooh. What's her name? Tay Royalty? I can't remember. No, I don't know her name. I can't remember. I don't know, Brittany. I can't remember her name. Hey, Royalty in chat. And the lovely Mars. Hey, baby, how are you? Good morning to you, too. I can't think of her name, y'all. I can't. She used to always come on my panel. She used to be in the car working. And she used to be like, you making my work day go fast. I don't know what's her name. I can't remember. I can't remember her name at all. It'll come to me, though. I just can't remember. Maybe Brittany might know whom. Brittany, yeah, that's her name. Yes, that's her name. Yeah. Right. Thank you, baby. Thank y'all. Yeah, have y'all seen her? I hope she's okay. I know she do live in Chicago because she did tell me that, on my panel a few times. I hope she's okay. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember her name neither. Brittany just told two people in the chat just told me her name. Because I was thinking about her this morning. She came across my mind this morning, and I haven't seen her. So I just said maybe I asked the chat. Maybe they could have seen her somewhere else or something like that. Yeah. No, I haven't seen her. Maybe she has been working. Yeah, that could be too. That could be true. Yeah, because I haven't seen her. Sometimes when people come in your chat a lot and then you don't see them for a couple of days, you just ask about them. Just as like if you live in a neighborhood and you don't see your neighbor for a couple of days, you just ask the next neighbor, like, because that's what I do sometimes. Have you seen such and such and such? Even if you don't know their name, just to check and see if everything okay, because you just never know. Sometimes you never know. Yeah, you just never know what people going through with and stuff like that. Hello to you too, sweetheart. How are you? Hey, truly blessed. Yeah, so I was just thinking about her this morning. She came across my mind. So I said, well, let me ask the chat, have anyone seen her? Maybe, in someone else's chat and stuff like that. So, yeah. Oh, Miss D, you sure are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Brittany, she did. And when she came in the chat this morning, I'm like, who is this lady? And then I'm like, wait a minute, she my mom. Wait, hold on. She changed her name. Because she got me this morning too when she first came in the chat. I'm like, huh? Yeah, that was crazy. Roy D, you are a sweetheart, and it shows that you care. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sis. Yeah, when I started getting familiar with names and stuff, and if I don't see a person, I would just ask about them just to, make sure they're okay. Because sometimes you never know what's going on in people's real life. Even though, some people, they support you on YouTube and stuff. Sometimes you never know what's really, truly going on in their real life. You know what I'm saying? And I thought about her because I didn't see her in a couple of days. And, that's not like her. She always come in my chat. Hey, honey K5, what's going on, girl? What's going on? So, I do that sometime on my block, just like one lady, I used to always see her and I stopped seeing her. And I asked one of my other neighbors about her, and they said that she has lost her husband. And I was like, oh, okay, because I know I stopped seeing her. So, sometimes you don't have to be friends with a person. And, if you normally see them sometimes, you don't see them no more, maybe get ask another neighbor how they doing. Not trying to be nosy, just checking. That's what it's about. Hey, Roy D, I've been waiting on you to go live. I'm at work in your bushes. Okay. Okay. Hey, Freddie. Hey, girl. What's going on? How are you doing today? I hope you are great. And I know you are. And I know you probably had to work. So, if y'all see her, just tell her I asked about her, Oh, okay. Got you. Okay, got you, sis. I got you. Okay, got you, sis. I got your message. I got you. Next time, goddamn it, tell me early. Okay, let me see. Roy, do you always make my day talking about you all day? Like I can't wait to 12 to hear my girl, and I'm all the way. Oh, okay. Thank you. Who they ask you, do you know me in real life? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I was watching this story on Miss Scott this morning. I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling funny about that story too. I could be wrong, but I just feel someone else helped him. And I could be wrong. I just feel like maybe he had help. And I mean, the truth will come out. Now, I don't know if it's now. I'm gonna tell you this. I was looking at another content creator this morning also, and I don't know if it's true, but I'm going by what they said allegedly that it was another remains other than Scott's they found back there. Now that's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. I think that's all. I think that's also Roy D. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it was somebody else involved in that. That's how I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel that way. This is about my fifth time tuning in. Sounds like my new family. Thank you, sis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so when I watched another content creator live this morning, because I was in and out trying to keep up with the little story, this other content creator said on the live that they said, now I did hear him say that now, that it was another body found back there with Scott body. Now I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Roy D. Hey, baby. Another person they going to lock up. Yeah, I believe it was somebody else. I definitely. Hey, Jay. They said they believe someone else helped him. I believe it too. I believe it. I definitely do believe he had help, but it'll all come out. The family needs justice, and I know they're going to get it. Yep, I do believe they're going to get it. That was terrible. First of all, he should have never been out of jail. Okay. Now I know the first case they did on him, they dropped it because allegedly he paid that victim not to come to court to testify against him, and they dropped that case. But now they reopening the case back up. Even though if that victim don't come to court, they're going to still use that case against him now because of this case here, which I feel as though they should have still kept that case going even though the victim did not show up. Because if he was living here, they would have kept that case going. They would have never stopped that case, even though, like certain cases here, if the victim doesn't shows up, how severe the case is, they will still charge you if they got a reasonable doubt that you was there and you did whatever that supposed to have happened. So like I said again, every state is different. Hey, Royal D, I've been in the bushes listening to you. You are doing an excellent job. Oh, thank you so much, Gigi. I appreciate that. Hey, Joanne. Correct. The state is going after him. Yes. But I feel they should have never let him out of jail, y'all. Even though the victim didn't show up to the courts, right? Because if they would have did that, the young lady here would be still alive today. That's just my opinion. You know, I think some of these court system fails people. Hey, Pammy Pooh, how you doing, sis? That's just my opinion. You know, I feel like she would be alive. I feel like this man had some dark secrets, and I feel like this was his agenda. This is what he was doing to all women. You know, he had a thing for women. This is the things that he does. You know, honey, baby, boy, where was your father? What did your father teach you? Was your father in your life? You know, to treat women this way? What was wrong? See, that's why I say some of these men, you know, honey, that, oh Lord. I just feel like it was more people involved in this case. And now the auntie, the reader, y'all know the spiritual reader, the auntie, y'all remember the auntie, right? The auntie has said before that she know, well, she really wasn't the auntie. Her son is the cousin of Scott. So she called the little girl, you know, her niece. So that's why I say auntie. But she's a spirit reader, if y'all know who I'm talking about. She did kept saying that that body was by that school. When they first went there to look for that body, they didn't find nothing. But she said the spirit told her that body was still there. And what happened, y'all? That body was there. Yeah. Okay, I'm a Southern girl, and I'm from the North, where I first moved to 42 years ago. And then I moved. Okay. So we'll see what happens. That's why when I go out, I go in the daytime so I can get back home. Yeah, a lot of people like that. They don't like being out at nighttime because it's really dangerous. But I do feel that it was someone else helped him with her, you know, to do the things that he did to her. Now, I don't know if y'all seen it, but I did watch a video on Facebook that he was putting her in a car and it was somebody that's with him. Now, I don't know if y'all seen that, but I damn sure seen it. Yeah. Because I sent that video to one of my partners. And she was like, oh my God. That's why I think they know that it was someone else that helped him. And the way he jumped the fence and stuck that. Oh, you mean the fence to the lady house? Because I seen that. I seen that video too. I said, what is wrong with this? This man is really crazy. And talking about he want to be a rapper. You disgusting. Yes, I seen that too. And the lady was like, call the police, call the police. And he was going through the lady windows. Now, I don't know if he knew this lady or he just did it to be doing it because of the type of person he is. I don't know. But that man is, he's scary. I can't believe it's almost November. Yep, almost Thanksgiving. So, y'all, we just got to be careful. You really do. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this part, right? Before I play this video. I remember when another content creator in another sector, she played a video one day. And Scott, which is the little girl, the young lady, I think she was on FaceTime talking to a guy. I don't know if y'all ever seen this. And the guy was asking her about her success, and she was telling him about her business, her career, what things that she had already done, things that she wanted to do. The guy was asking her. So I was wondering, was this the same guy that was talking to her FaceTime on her phone? Or if this not the same guy, did they ever interview the guy that was talking to her that time on FaceTime? But it may not be the same guy. But in the beginning, I was like, wonder is that the guy was talking to her that time on her FaceTime? I don't know if y'all remember that, but I seen that. I remember that. Yes, babe, I see your comment. I see it. There was another boy and girl involved in it. Was said, what? Really? I think it was somebody else too, sis. To be honest, I really do. I really do think it was someone else, and time will tell. Oh, you seen it, Brittany? Yeah, because when it first aired, I'm like, damn, wonder was that guy? Wonder was that him? When that content creator first played that video, because he was asking her, what she liked to do, and asking her about her career, asking her what made her get into this type of business. And, she was telling me, well, she was telling him, like, about her businesses and, and stuff like that, and had the tours that she already had been on. So I don't know if it was this guy or not, but I do remember that video. I definitely do remember that video. So, yeah. So thank y'all all for subscribing to her channel. So y'all, we gonna get in this video from Chicago, honey. Ooh, child. Let's get into it, honey. See, we have to be careful of who we talk to. Yeah, you do. You do. Sometimes you always know a guy background. You really don't. And I always say, don't start telling me your business and where you live at and, what type of career you involved in. Because some of these guys ain't really for you. They can be against you. You know what I'm saying? They can act like they want to be with you and want to be in a relationship with you. And the whole time they ain't got shit to give you. And then you don't got caught up in your feelings with him and in love with him. And then, it's hard to get rid of him. And, he started to threaten you. If you leave me, I'm going to do this to you and all of that. Then you be so, and you know what? I think she was afraid. I think she knew who was stalking her. I really do. I think she knew who was stalking her. I think she became afraid. I think she didn't tell her family at the time who was stalking her. I think it was just a lot behind it. I think it was just a lot behind it, So I feel sorry for the family. I really do. She was so beautiful. She just was in the prime of her life, just living her life. But that's just the way it go, y'all. We got to be careful out here. All of this is so sad right here at the holiday fam. Yes. Yes, sis. Yes. Right. That is so true. Because we already know Auntie Tina is, her Christmas is never going to be the same again. She's going to push through the best she can to do what she can to make her grandson as happy as she can. But inside, she's going to be broken. She's going to be hurt. Her heart's going to be crying, because she's not going to have Ramika here this Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's going to be a lot for her for a while. So that definitely is true. And a lot of people probably don't think that way, because Holly's going to be here with her son. She's going to be here with her family. But on the flip side, Auntie Tina is not going to have that. She's not going to have her daughter wake up, to open gifts with the family. Her son open gifts with her, hug his mother. He's not going to have that this year. He's not. He's not going to have that at all this year. Hey, baby. Hey, honey. How are you? So, yeah. Wow. That's a lot to think about. It really is. It's a lot to think about. So we're going to get into this video. And this story is out of Chicago, y'all.
If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and
I
understanding
love
from
him,
a
y'all,
hood
because
brother's point of view
he's a
to
king.
all
This
of
man's
you
really a
here,
king.
there, and everywhere. Now check me out.
It was a situation where my girl cousin got killed.
Yeah.
And a nigga that was from 600 did it because that was his baby mama. So he was mad on some baby mama, baby daddy shit in the crib together. They had their baby sitting right here. Plus he was pregnant with another baby by him. And he killed her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga named Bite Down?
Yep. You know. You gotta understand, this nigga not only killed his baby mama with a baby in her, his own flesh.
In front of the kid.
And the baby was right here. That's two. Then you ran around the crib, killed her brother, then shot her friend, and shot her mama.
Oh, my
Boy, you
God.
crazy. Nah, you ain't even did this to the ops.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Hey, that's crazy.
That's some sick. That makes you feel like, damn, I did not know you at all.
Like,
I had no idea who you were.
Boy, you stayed, like, you realize, lived in my auntie crib. They fed you. Like, you had 2 kids by my cousin. Motherfucker really treated you like family. Mind you, it been multiple situations where I'm calling home from jail. They like, yeah, Imani and him was just fighting. I can't wait till you come home. You hear me? Because he did some shit when I was out of jail before, and I made him pull up to the crib. Like, boy, come holler at me right now. Boy, this shit gonna get out of hand. Why I'm clear about my cousin.
Got unalived
I was standing on 119th to Princeton. He pull up to the crib. Him and my cousin brother, they getting into it because he keep putting his hands on her. I just told him, like, I'm home, folks. We're not doing that. If you got a problem, whatever going on, bro, call me. I'ma make sure the situation, like, you know what I'm saying? He all right, but he was still on some fake tough shit. And from there, I told him, like, well, she need to leave his ass alone, stop fucking with him, you know what I'm saying? He too emotional, he too sentimental, and he a dirty ass nigga. He don't got no money, he don't got nothing, you feel me? So he really around this bitch leeching and using just to get by, you know what I'm saying? Only thing this nigga got is a gun, not even a pair of drawers.
Like, how surprised were you when you heard that something that wild had happened? Like,
I mean,
you know,
of course, you know, a motherfucker was thinking in their head, like, nah, this can't be true, or nah, this ain't real, because, you know what I'm saying, all the times that I chopped it up with him, you know what I'm saying, he seemed like an understanding person, like, oh, I love her, I never heard her, this is my wife, you know what I'm saying, da-da-da-da.
That's what they say, but that's not true.
Seemed like a good dude, you feel me? But I was shocked at that shit. He a street nigga. I didn't think he was gonna go outside like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man, that's a wild story, man. A very unfortunate situation. Do people start, you know, what's the reaction from everybody? Like, are you seeing people say free him off the bat?
I mean, Vaughn was one of the first that DM'd me. RP King Vaughn. He was one of the first niggas that DM'd me about putting Bite Down name in a song, you know what I'm saying? But I told him, like, you feel me? It is what it is. Shorty ass come home, we nailing his ass, you know?
Cold-blooded demonstration. But here it is, right? We have brother Bite Down from 600, one of the most notorious and dangerous gangs on the south side of Chicago. Now, this boy right here done laid up here and killed his child's mother. Do y'all hear me? His child's mother, 20-year-old Imani, shot her and killed her. But not only that, though. Killed her 16-year-old brother, Elijah. Shot him in the back. And I know y'all probably saying, well, damn, hood educated, why would somebody do something like that? Why would Bite Down do something like that? Well, according to reports, it all started over an argument because Bite Down got another girl pregnant and Imani, she wasn't going for it. So, of course, she checking him and letting him know, hey, man, look, you out of pocket. But not only that, though, Elijah, her 16-year-old brother, he ain't like Bite Down. And the reason why he didn't like Bite Down, because Bite Down was abusive, physically, verbally, and emotionally to his older sister.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who have little brothers, you know how your little brother is about you. You know, I got older sisters, and I'm talking about I used to defend my older sisters like I was their husbands or they boyfriend or something like that. I'm talking about I'll be like, you finna go out wearing that? No, you can't wear that. They be like, boy, if you don't get out of there, boy, who you think you talking to? But that's just how little brothers is about their older sisters, and especially their baby sisters, right? So here it is, Elijah defending his sister. You know, they get to tussling. Him and Bite Down get to fighting. And I'm talking about they saying that Elijah was good with his hands. And he put them things on him. And that kicked off everything. But let's do a little, let's get to the backstory, right? Let's do a little historical information to find out, you know, a little bit about Bite Down. Bite Down in the year of 2007 was arrested and convicted of carrying a firearm. 2007. So what that tell us? He was 19 when he got caught up for this crime. So in 2007, that boy was 10 years old.
So you know Bite Down was already dangerous, baby.
I'm talking about like that. That should tell you enough about Bite Down right there. This boy carrying a pistol at 10. Yes. But what people need to realize and understand one thing, in Chicago, they jump off the porch early. So he was 10 in regular years, but in Chicago, he probably was 21 in gangbang years. You see what I'm saying? There's a big difference. I know y'all probably say, no, hood, that's a baby. No, listen, a 10-year-old would kill you in Chicago.
Damn.
They got 10, 12, 11-year-old guys riding. I'm talking about riding slick in Chicago. Smoking cigarettes, smoking that good old Mountain Lion Kush, drinking, popping pills at 10. They wild. So here it is. This boy get arrested and get a year in juvenile detention for having a firearm at 10. I believe it was 2014. He get caught with another pistol. But this time they charged him with aggravated possession of a firearm. And for those of you who don't understand what that means, check it out.
Aggravating factors. A person can be charged with aggravated unlawful use of a weapon if they carry a loaded, accessible firearm. This is true even if you have a FOID card, but not a concealed carry license. Carry an unloaded firearm with ammunition immediately accessible. This applies to firearms other than a pistol, revolver, handgun, taser, or stun gun. Do not have a firearm owner's identification, FOID card, and or a concealed carry permit. Are under 21 in possession of a handgun. Have an order of protection issued against you within the previous 2 years. Had a gun while committing a misdemeanor involving the use or threat of violence.
So it was.
Hold on, y'all. Let me get it out.
Welcome to Mistletoe. Thanks so much. Have a great holiday. Every charming little town has a dark underbelly if you know what to look for. How did you say he died?
So it was either one of those, right? And being that he was 10 with a pistol, that tells me that he was about that life at 10. And being that he got caught up in 2014 with another pistol, that tells me that he's about that life. So it possibly could have been him threatening somebody with a gun. And this is just my assumption. I don't know. You know, but being that he carrying guns at that young age, that tells us that, listen, this boy right here is about that. You see? Now, after Get Out the last time, I think him and Imani met in 2015, right? and they kicking it, laughing and giggling or whatever, you know, puppy love type demonstration. He frequently going to the house, you know, where she stay at with her mama and her little brother. And so they have a baby together. Yeah, they got a baby. And during all this right here, this is when the relationship between Bite Down and Elijah starts to sour, because he's seeing how this boy is treating his sister, and he don't like that. So they always arguing back and forth, you know what I'm saying? But they never got to the point of fighting until that unfortunate night. Now, here it is. Imani is pregnant with another one of his babies. They already got a child, but she's pregnant right now. So one night, 2016, they get to argue, right? And when I say they, I'm talking about Bite Down and Imani. They get to arguing because here it is. He come and tell her, look, I got another girl pregnant. She ain't going for it. She's snapping out. So he get the rough housing her while she's pregnant. Little bro ain't going for it. Little bro come down there, see what's going on. He get to putting hands on him. So it almost appeared that he getting jumped by his child's mother and her brother. But the brother just coming to defend his sister, and she's pregnant. After the fight, Bite Down leave the crib, right? Imani, Elijah, one of her home girls is down in the basement. Bite Down come back in the house. Now, I know hindsight is 2020, but after a fight, and y'all know that this boy right here is violent, how did he get back in the house? Y'all ain't locked the door when he left. I'm talking about, like, I mean, I know this is, you know, we here now, and that was historical things, but like, look, let me just say this right here before I proceed. If you get into a fight with somebody, if a domestic violence type demonstration going on in your house with your kids or with the man of the house or the woman, whatever, whoever it is, if they leave, lock that door.
Yes.
Lock that door. Not only lock the door, especially if it's a man beating a woman, hey, call some cousins and uncles and all them over there. Hey, come on, this man just jumped on me. I need some help. And if you don't want to call them, call the police. Hey, man, this man just jumped on me. I need some help. Because men don't beat women. Woman beaters beat women. You see, a man, you know, a woman get to doing all that crazy stuff. A man be like, come on now, woman, grab up. Hey, chill out now. Come on now. I'm finna leave. Just let me get on up out of here.
That's why
you see
I like
what I'm saying?
Cool,
but a woman beater, no, he gonna beat you like he fighting a man.
That's
you
right.
see? And that's how you know the difference. A man, he ain't gonna let you harm him though. Don't get it twisted. You know, you get to throwing that windmill on him, you know what I'm saying? A man be like, hey, wait, hold on. He gonna grab your hands. He gonna grab you or do something. And then he gonna get up out of there. That's all right. But when you got a man doing all that to you and all that, and, that's not a man right there. That's a woman beater. And he gonna continue to beat you. So yeah, you need to call the police and let them know what time it is.
It's time to break camp.
And not only that, get you some protection. Because woman beaters, they always killing women. They have no problem.
Hallelujah.
Because once you take the power away from a woman beater, nah, he want his power back.
Hey,
he feels so enraged that you got emboldened to try to protect yourself that he think that he can kill you. And he's okay with that. Until he getting life in a penitentiary.
Let's talk about it.
But so, in this case,
real king talk.
Bite Down gets back in the house. The mother heard the argument before all that, right? Before he left and all that. The mother that lives in the house, whose house it is, she heard the argument. She heard the rumbling and tumbling. And so she goes down there, leaves her room and goes down there. And she was the one that broke the whole fight thing up. And then Bite Down left. So let's clear that up. And then Bite Down left, right? So they possibly could have been down in the basement, you know what I'm saying, still talking about what happened, what's going on, why is he tripping, and why y'all fighting, you know, trying to figure things out, not understanding that this man right here done left to go get a gun.
Wow.
So now when he leave and go get the gun, he comes back. He walks down in the basement. Imani steps in front of him because he's going towards Elijah. Imani steps in front of him and was like, no, you're not finna do that to my little brother. Like, y'all ain't finna fight no more. He reaches over Imani, shoots Elijah multiple times.
Wow.
As soon as he shoots Elijah, the mama understands what's going on. Hold on, I gotta run to the phone. So the mother started running up the stairs because they was in the basement. The mother started running up the stairs. He shoot her down. Pow, 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 pow.
Sad.
3 times.
Oh, Lord.
She falls. But then she tries to crawl up the stairs with the last little bit of energy that she has left.
I'm going to get Brittany to drop his chat in the chat.
Cold-blooded demonstration. Now, the mother said when he shot her the second time, she played dead.
Wow.
On the steps of her own house.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine being shot 5 times? Because that's how many times he shot her. 5 times.
Reckless.
These bullets entering your body. Your body is screaming for pain. You see what I'm saying? This stuff hurts. You bleed everywhere. And you got to pretend not to feel that pain. You got to pretend that you are dead while you hearing and you listening to everything else going
Brittany,
on.
are you in the chat?
Because he didn't stop there. After the mother played dead, she said she heard him shooting her daughter.
Oh, my God. My God.
Can you imagine that?
My God.
Laying on the steps. This man done shot you. You know he done shot your son. And now you hear him shooting your daughter. But the cold-blooded part about everything is this right here. Imani was pregnant with his baby when he did the shooting on Imani. They saying that he shot her in the chest, shot her in the breast. She fell to the ground, stood over her, put the gun in her mouth.
Jesus.
And
Lord,
shot
have
her.
mercy.
While all this is going on, right? Her friend breaks for it. She tried to hit the stairs, but she gets slowed down because the mother is on the steps playing dead. He hit her, boom, shot her in the leg, but somehow she still gets up, run up the stairs, and she runs into the bathroom. He runs up the stairs, push the bathroom door open because she's trying to keep him up out the room, keep him out the bathroom. He pushed the door open, put the gun to her neck. Wow.
Wow. This man was cold-blooded, y'all. He was a cold-blooded man.
The house.
No remorse.
Thinking that he done killed the whole house. Cold-blooded demonstration. But by the grace of God, by the grace of the universal creator, the mother survived. She lived. The girl that he shot in the thigh and in the neck, she survived. She lived. Not to mention, it was other kids in the house, including his younger daughter. There was 2 more other kids in the house that was old enough to recognize and see what was going on. You talking about low down and dirty?
Yes.
Man, please. Low down and dirty?
Yeah, he was a fuck nigga.
After he leave the house, they called the ambulance and stuff like that. They survived. He thought he killed the whole house. The only reason why he ain't killed the kids because he thinking in his mind that these kids can't testify. These kids can't tell the police who shot who and who did what. But yes, they did. Yeah. Yeah. Them kids say, yeah, no, Bite Down had a gun in the house. And when we heard the shooting, Bite Down was the one with the gun doing all the shooting.
Smart kid.
And then not only that, the mama who survived. Yeah, this man done shot my daughter, killed her. This man done shot my son, killed him. And not only that, my grandbaby that was in my daughter's stomach died from the trauma of the shooting. You see? Cold-blooded demonstration. The girl that got shot in the thigh and got shot in the neck. She would, hey, look, that's him right there. You see? And the part that just blows my mind about all this, when people do stuff like this, you should want to see him in prison. Anybody that would kill their child's mother that's carrying their baby, no, come on, man. Like you deserve to be in prison for the rest of your life. You took 2 lives, really 3 lives, because we got the baby, we got the brother, and we got the sister. You done destroyed these people's family. You done destroyed those kids. They'll never forget that. That's etched in their memory. It's in their memory bank. They'll never forget that. But you got people in gangs and stuff like that saying, free this guy. You got gangbangers talking about, yeah,
That's
man, you know, free my
like,
homeboy Bite
killed the
down
whole
and stuff
family
like
talking
that.
about free him?
Look,
boy, is you serious?
let me tell you gangster something. And for all you people that agree with freeing Bite down and all that, y'all got to understand something. I understand that that's y'all homeboy and stuff like that, and y'all got a, a code of conduct, and y'all got to show loyalty and stuff like that. But let me tell you something. Anytime somebody would kill their child's mother that is pregnant with their baby, he don't give a damn about you.
Facts.
So while you saying free him, you need to understand something. If you ever got into an argument with him, what he would do to you.
Or your family.
Because he got into an argument with his girlfriend and then got into a fight with her little brother and tried to kill the whole house. So just imagine what he'll do to you if you get to fighting him, or if you get into an argument with him. What he gonna do to you? You think he gonna say, oh no, you know what, we gang, man. I can't kill you, you know what I'm saying? But my child's mother, the one that got my baby, and the one that's pregnant with my daughter, I kill her, you know what I'm saying? That, and my baby that's in her stomach, I kill him too, or her. I don't care about that, you know what I'm saying? But we gang, man, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna kill you if we get into an argument. Shit. You gotta be out your damn mind if you think that boy right there wouldn't pull that gun on you and blow your brains out over an argument or a fight. And y'all got the nerves to be talking about some free Bite down. Now listen. I understand the rules of the streets, but at the same time, when I was coming up, I mean, nowadays, I don't know what the hell going on, but when I was coming up, look, kids was off limits, women was off limits,
hell yeah.
The elderly was off limits.
Yep.
Those are things that you just can't harm.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? You just can't harm them. The only way that you can harm a woman in the code of the streets is if she is playing roles in the codes of the streets. And what I mean by that is if this is a woman who is setting people up to be killed, you see what I'm saying? If this is a woman that's setting people up to be robbed, you see, if this is a woman who is, dropping the location
Brittany,
to
if you
get
know
people
it's time to be
killed and
dropping
stuff
the
like
link
that, then
in the
she's
chat.
all fair game because she's in the game. You see? But if she's just a child's mother, a woman, you get violated for that type of stuff. I'm talking about you get outcasted for that type of stuff. If not, get killed for that type of stuff. Yeah, there's a such thing as a death violation. I don't know about now, but back when I was coming up, you had your violation. You can get a physical violation. You can get a financial violation, or you can end up getting a death violation. No, we got to kill him because of what he done did. You see what I'm saying? But nowadays, it ain't no structure, so these guys are just doing whatever they want to do. But I just wanted to give you young brothers some game who are out there in that gang life. If you got somebody in your gang that's willing to kill their child's mother, a woman that they slept with, made love lotion with, made a baby with, and you think he won't harm you, your mind is gone. Something wrong with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got a mental defect. Something ain't right. Because anybody in their right mind can see and be like, wait a minute. Man, you killed your baby mama?
Okay, Brittany. I'm gonna stick it out.
Excuse me, do you drive a car?
Yeah, of course.
And what kind?
Hold on, y'all. This man is dropping some
and
jewels
who's your
here.
insurance provider?
It'd be Progressive, technically.
Progressive. Okay.
Nah. You can't even hang around here no more. You got to go. It's over with. But nowadays, I guess they don't care. But allow me to say this right here, because through all this, he just got convicted. And according to reports, brothers that was around him, that was in the county jail with him, they said that the state of Chicago, or the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, was trying to give him 20 years as a plea bargain. But he said, "No, I ain't taking that. I'm going all the way to trial." See, that's how you know something wrong with him. That's how you know. Man, they got the grandmama, the baby mama's mama, they got her mama to gonna testify and point you out. The friend gonna testify and point you out. The kids, they got evidence of you being in and out the house and all that old type of stuff, and you still gonna go to trial. That's how you know something ain't right with him. Something ain't right with him. And you know, I hope they was telling him, yeah, man, go on the trial.
That's his channel, y'all, in the link.
Brother,
If anybody wants to subscribe to his channel.
But see, by me being a part of that street life and understanding how street people think, he probably was believing in his mind, the only thing that they got against me is Imani's mama and that girl and those kids. That's it. They ain't got no physical evidence. And he probably was thinking and hoping, man, I hope the homeboys go over there and kill that woman and kill that girl and kill them kids so that I can get out. You see? Because for him to do it, he got to expect that the homeboys would do it. Wow. You feel me? But they probably like, man, we ain't touching that. We ain't finna, man, we ain't finna go kill that woman, man. We ain't finna go kill them kids and that other girl, man. You tripping. Because, and I gotta be honest, in the defense of the other members of 600, right? I gotta be honest. Even though that's their homeboy, truthfully, within they self, they probably like, man, this boy done lost his mind. Man, we ain't finna aid and assist him. We ain't finna do nothing for him. We ain't finna go put no work in on no innocent bystanders. That you done killed the woman, your child's mother, and you done killed her son and all that. Try to kill the other girl. They probably like, man, we ain't gonna do that. They probably was pretending and faking like, hey man, look, that's the homeboy. We gotta save face. Hey man, it's a free bite now. They probably was doing that. But deep within themselves, they probably was like, man, this fool done lost his mind. We ain't studying this fool. And now that he just got convicted, it's finna show. It's finna show. Because I guarantee you, they ain't finna be sending that boy no money and all that old type of stuff. That boy finna get life in the penitentiary.
That's what he needs.
Multiple life in the penitentiary.
That's what he needs.
It's over with for him. Now, allow me to say this before I depart. This is a very unfortunate situation. And I want to say rest in peace, to Elijah and Imani. And I want to extend my condolences to their family and all their loved ones, because nobody shouldn't have to go through nothing like that. But allow me to say this right here, y'all. Especially for the parents, right? Don't let your daughters date gangsters.
Facts. If you can prevent it,
Don't let your daughters date no good young teenage boys. And that's vice versa, because you got these little girls out here, they wild too. So, don't let your son date no good little girls, the teenage girls. Don't let that happen. Have it established with your children, whether it be a boy or a girl, if they're going to date somebody, they got to bring them to the house. They got to meet the parents. We got to go old school with this thing. And the reason why I say that is because when I was coming up as a teenager, I used to just bring girls to the house. When I was living with my mama, I just bring girls to the house and take them straight to the bedroom. And my mama, she'll probably be in her room or she'll be cooking or something like that. And she ain't really get on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young boy. She ain't really get on me about that. But I wish she would have, right? Because that would have kind of like told me, a little bit about respecting a woman and stuff like that. But, my mama, she just let it just slide. But we got to get back to that era in time with it. I'm talking about where the mother and the father can examine who their daughter is dating, who their daughter is liking, because that gives you an understanding of what your son or your daughter likes. It gives you an understanding of what your son or your daughter has influence on, or what they are influenced by. You see what I'm saying? So we got to get back there with it. You know, hey, look, if you want to come to the house, come meet my mama. You see what I'm saying? Or you little girls, you know what I'm saying? Like when a boy telling you to come to the house, hey, look, I got to meet your mama and your father. You see? And if a boy don't want you to meet his mother and father, that should tell you everything, little girl. That should tell you that, look, he just want fun with you. He just want to get in there and make love lotion with you. That's all he want to do. He don't want to, you know, meet your father and your mother and stuff like that, because then he understands that, hey, look, I got to be responsible a little bit if I meet the mother and the father. You see what I'm saying? If I meet them, and if the mother and father is on point, he understands he got to be on point. But if he just come in the house and he run to the room with you and the mother and the father don't say nothing, then he gonna feel like he ain't got to respect you. Men, examine the boys that your daughter is dating. Look, come over here. Hey, let me holler at you, young man. How you doing? What you got going on? What your grades like in school? You ever been arrested before? Huh? You been to juvenile center already? What's your social media? Where you stay at? Who your mama and daddy? What gang is around in that area that you live in? Is your uncles and them in gangs? Is your mom and daddy in gangs? Are they taxpaying citizens? Or are they running the streets? You see what I'm saying? We got to start examining these boys. And we got to start examining these girls. We got to get back to that. Because listen, let me tell you something. I remember when I was young, right? It was one girl that I was trying to get with. And she told me straight up, you got to come and meet my mother and father. What you mean? Meeting your mother and father for what? I ain't trying to marry you or none of that type of stuff. I'm trying to have a good night. I ain't trying to do all that. What I'm meeting them for? You see what I'm saying? Because I ain't want to do all that. But if I had good intentions, if I had pure intentions, I would have had no problem with meeting the family. Yeah. Yeah, I want to meet your mom and your dad. Yeah, I like her. I love her. Yeah. I go to school. I'm in high school right now. I do this. I do that. Yeah, I got a job. I'm not a part of no gang violence or none of that type of stuff. Yeah, I mean, my mother's good. My dad's good. I wouldn't have had no problem with that. But being that I just wanted to make love lotion with this girl, I'm not trying to meet your man for what? I'm not trying to be with you like that. So just that little thing right there would tell you a lot. You understand? That would tell you a lot about a boy. And not only that, like I say, if your daughter is trying to date somebody or she likes somebody, examine that, because that'll give you that'll take you inside her mind and see what she liking, and then you can correct that. You see what I'm saying? And not only that, if the boy come to the house, you can see what kind of boy he is, and then you can correct that. Hey, listen, check this out, son. You ain't good for my daughter. And if I catch you with this boy again, I'm listen, they're gonna have to call the police. Do you understand? Son, please don't come to my house no more. Excuse me. Matter of fact, who is your mother and father? So I can talk to them and tell them, hey, can you please keep him away from my daughter? I don't want him dating my daughter. You see, I'm not, no, I don't agree with this right here. And then explain it to your daughter or explain it to your son. Break it down to them. I'm talking about good.
So they can understand.
Don't just say, I don't want you dating them, because say, look, I don't want you dating him or her because of these reasons, and let me show you why. Mm-hmm. You see? And then you start giving examples. You start showing examples like, okay, now you see this little boy right here. He was dating her, and this right here, they got into an argument because he got her pregnant, got another girl pregnant. And then this boy right here ended up killing her, the baby and her brother, and then tried to kill the mother. You see what I'm saying? Now, you might not think that's going to happen to you because you don't understand, but it's possible. It could happen. So I'm trying to save you from that. You see, you got to break it all the way down to them so that they can understand, like, oh, okay, I see why you don't want me to date this guy. And then not only that, if he's a game banger here in the streets, listen, that boy finna go to jail. He finna die. You see, them is two outcomes for him. He finna go to jail or he finna die. That's what us, and he might get you pregnant. Then your child ain't gonna have no father.
That's so true.
You see, you gotta break it all the way down with them so that they can see it. Because if you just say don't do that, they're gonna be like, oh man, my pop's old, my mama old. They don't know this is what's going on. This is what's hip right now. This is what we're doing right now. And you don't want to do that. You want to give it to them in the lamest terms so that they can understand and they can visualize and see what you're talking about. And love on your children. Try to be the best example that you can be for your children. If you have some shortcomings, right? They say that you ain't all the way there yet. You might have came up in a dysfunctional household, but you trying to do better. Explain that to the kids. Hey, listen, check this out, son. Check this out, daughter. You know, I do certain things and I know I shouldn't be doing these things, but you know, this is what's going on with me and this is what I do with it. Break it up, but I don't want you to do this. You see, I don't want you to come up the way I came up. And that's why I am the way I am with my daughters. I grew up without a father. I'm talking about, and I wanted him so bad. I'm talking about, man, I wanted my dad so bad to be in my life. It used to hurt me. I'm talking about as a kid, destroy me when I used to be in the hood. And some of the homies would be like, man, I got to go with my dad, man. I used to be like, you going with your dad? Yeah, man, my mama sending me over to my daddy's house, man, for the weekend. I ain't going to be able to kick it. I'm like, man, you going with your daddy? Man, I wish my daddy was coming to get me. You see, I wanted that. So understand this right here, y'all. Being that I went through that situation with my father, I told myself as a kid, I'll never abandon my child because I understood what it did to me and how it made me feel. I said, no, I ain't gonna do that. And some of the things I went through with my mother, I love my mother, but some of the things that I went through with my mother and some of the things that she allowed to happen, I said, I'll never let my children go through that, or I'll never put my children through none of that type of stuff. And not disrespecting my mother. I honor my mother. I love my mother. But at the same time, we live and we learn. And I learned, I said, no, I'm not going to let my kid, no. And so that's why I am the way I am with my children, because I don't want them to go through what I went through. I learned from the mistakes. And I said, no, that ain't going to happen. And that's what we got to start doing when it comes to our children. We know what we did was messed up. We know the life that we was living was messed up. We know some of the bad decisions that we made that was messed up. So now we don't continue that. We break the curse by cutting it.
Absolutely.
This is Hood Educated, not Lame Related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Now, before I depart, allow me to give a shout out to some of the blessings that I received this week. Allow me to give a shout out to Tracy Frazier for the $10 Zelle. Thank you.
I love his channel, y'all. I think he's a good guy. He's down to earth. I like how he break things down. This is what you call a king right here. This man here, this is what you call a king. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, this is what you call a king. Hey, open book. When I was growing up, all we wanted was I don't know. I mean, And what's even more sad, in my opinion, I don't understand why those young mothers have children, 10 and 11, following them to date some sex and even bring the kids' brains are not developed. That's true. That is so true. But this gang member was evil, y'all. Okay? Evil. All right? You sat there, you unalive your own baby mama. Your own baby mama. And then you cheated on her and had another baby. And now the woman want to say something to you about it. You get aggressive. Because she want to say something to you about the other woman being pregnant. And it seems to me you couldn't take the pressure. See, that's the shit I'm talking about. Sad. Sad, sad, sad. Freddie said she remembered this story. She sure did. She said she remembered this story out of Chicago. Man. He never needs to walk back on the street ever again. Ever again. I just subscribe to his channel. Okay. Okay, good. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. That is so sad. Thank God the mother did survive, but even though she survived, she would never forget what happened to her son. She still lost her son. She lost her daughter, and she also lost her unborn grandbaby. So that will always hurt her. Always. All right, I'm just looking for something, y'all. That's so sad. Damn. I like his channel. All right, should I find? I was trying to find this other Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Ooh, baby. Yeah, talk to your kids, baby. Talk to your kids, cause baby, this is not good. All right, let me see. I don't know where. Did I subscribe to his channel? Maybe I didn't because I can't find it. Let's see. Baby, these goddamn men is going berserk, honey. They ain't having it. All right, I can't find that one. Maybe I have to go to the other one. Let me see. Because I had another good one for y'all. But I can't find the channel for some reason. Ain't that about a mother sucker? Damn. Did I pass it by? Let me look on here. Let me see something on here. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find this channel. Yeah, we gotta talk to our children, especially when they start to get, like teenagers. Don't start because some people start talking to their kids, child, when they become adults. You got to talk to these kids now, because these kids, honey, they'll go out here and in middle school and, start talking to guys and stuff like that. So you want to start off at an early age. Like he said, when you start seeing these guys, they want to put their hand on females. Nah, that's not cool. Because once they start putting their hand on you, it's going to continue. It's definitely not going to stop. You can believe that. That's definitely not going to stop. That's definitely going to continue to keep going on. And then when you live with them, oh my God. All right, I can't find that story, y'all. I don't know what happened with it. I don't know. Let's see. I got so many stories, y'all, backed up in my thing that I just can't get to all of them at one time. But I be trying to do them, let me see, can I find this one? Let me see. I think I just seen this one. The other one I probably can find it tonight, because I got so much backed up, girl. Oh, Lord. And you know why I try to keep these stories alive, y'all? Because of Ramika. Because, again, I didn't like the way she went out of here. I just didn't like it. Didn't sit well with me. So I try to keep her name alive and show people, like, okay, I think this is it right here. No, that's not it, because this is, let me see. But we still pray for justice for Ramika. We do. I got so many channels, y'all, I'm subscribed to. I swear to God, y'all. Because I want to do stories like this. Okay, this is not it here. Some people I'm going to unsubscribe from because I don't really watch them like that. But the ones that I do really watch, I want to keep those on my list. Okay, I think this is it right here. Now, y'all, this man here, oh my God, y'all. This man had no remorse. Okay? They need to go on and gave him the death penalty. Because, baby, what I'm looking for, I'm going to have to find that tonight. I ain't got time. I got so many channels I'm subscribed to, I just can't keep up with everything. Okay, let me get to this one here. Okay. This man here, okay, I don't even like him. I just don't even like him. No, I just don't like him. He just showed no remorse at all. Like, he was just cold-blooded. Lord, Lord, my sons was like some of these guys out here, I don't think I would claim, I would be scared of my own damn sons. I'm just being honest with you. Let me see. Okay, I think this is it right here. All right, I got to bring it up, y'all. Give me a second here. Okay, let me see, because I got to bring this up. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, come on now. All right.
Even deeper than his own criminal.
All right, let me just bring it up, y'all. I got to bring it up on the stage so y'all can hear it also. Baby, baby. I want to hear this little motherfucker talk.
I want the electric chair because I'm ready to leave on. I'm ready to move on. That's it. I mean, it's over with.
When you love someone, you do whatever you can to be there for them. You do whatever you can to support them, whether it's a good day or a bad day, whether they feel good or they don't feel good, whether they get it right or they
come on,
get it wrong.
Okay.
You're there for them.
She was a master's degree holder, a motivational speaker, and a successful entrepreneur building her own company. He was a registered offender with multiple felony convictions who couldn't even hold down a regular job. She had everything going for her: education, ambition, a bright future ahead. He had a rap sheet longer than most people's resumes and came from a family where his own father had been convicted of taking his wife's life just years earlier. Yet somehow, 31-year-old Xavier Hill saw something in 30-year-old Cola Beal IV that the rest of the world couldn't see. Her parents tried to warn her. Her friends raised concerns. But love, or what she thought was love, made her blind to the deadly truth standing right in front of her. When Xavier's family finally started asking the hard questions about what this man was really bringing to her life, their concerns would trigger a rage so violent that it would leave 3 people dead in just 4 days.
Did you shoot your girlfriend and burn her house down? So you killed her Tuesday, set her house on fire on Thursday? You killed Mr. Baxter on Wednesday? What day did you kill Downing?
How does a woman with so much potential end up with a man who had so little to offer? And why do accomplished women keep choosing dangerous men who ultimately destroy them? This story takes us to Norfolk, Virginia, where 31-year-old Xavier Hill was living her best life. She was the kind of woman who inspired others just by being herself. Xavier was a vibrant and sociable individual who had been engaged actively in academic pursuits from kindergarten through graduate school. She wasn't just smart, she was gifted. Identified as such in elementary school, and she continued to thrive academically throughout her entire educational journey. Xavier's passion for communications began early, during middle school. By high school, she had become a certified on-air radio announcer. Her talent earned her recognition as a Parsons Scholar, which came with a 4-year scholarship to Norfolk State University. At Norfolk State, she co-hosted the on-campus talk show Golden Message, where her natural charisma and communication skills shone through. But Xavier didn't stop there. She pursued a master's degree in human services counseling and was actively working on a second master's degree in strategic communications at Regent University. This woman was driven. She was a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, where she was known as Static Electricity, a nickname that perfectly captured her powerful yet humble presence. Xavier had channeled all her education and passion into building something meaningful. She started her own company called 114 and Company, where she helped small businesses by providing them with branding and digital marketing strategies. She was a life coach, a motivational speaker, and a brand consultant who genuinely wanted to make a difference in people's lives. Her social media was filled with uplifting messages aimed at helping people going through tough times. She would post motivational speeches designed to encourage others, always trying to spread positivity and hope. One of her posts perfectly captured her spirit.
Today is a new day. Don't let the failures, the fears, the doubts of yesterday stop you from being your best self today. God has gifted you with everything that you need to accomplish all the tasks set before you. You got this. Pray, plan, and execute.
This was Xavier Hill, educated, accomplished, successful, and genuine.
And y'all, this really bothers me, man. You know, because you got these women out here like her and Ramika. They have a great mind of thinking. They know what they want. They know what they want to become. They're working on it. But they get caught up with the wrong men and think this is the man that loves them. You know, because that's what he say. He tells them. And then when they get so caught up, you know what I'm saying? They fall in love. It's hard to break loose. Then when they do break loose, they lose their lives. And that's the sad part about it. That was really bothers me.
Good-hearted. She was a woman who had her life together and was actively working to help others get their lives together too. And then there was Beal. While Xavier was building businesses and earning advanced degrees, Beal was building a criminal record. His background read like a handbook of red flags that should have sent any rational person running in the opposite direction. In 2013, Beale pled guilty to robbery, conspiracy, and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. These weren't minor infractions. These were serious, violent crimes that landed him in prison for 5 years. But that was just the beginning of his legal troubles. 4 years after his robbery conviction in 2017, Beale pled guilty to a charge involving inappropriate conduct with a victim under the age of 13. This conviction required him to register as an offender and earned him another year behind bars. The nature of this crime alone should have been an automatic disqualifier for any relationship with a decent person. Even while he was on probation for these serious charges, Beale couldn't stay out of trouble. In 2019, he was caught driving under the influence on Naval Station Norfolk. He was found guilty of that federal charge and sentenced to spend 5 days in jail. But Beale's connection to violence went even deeper than his own criminal record. Violence ran in his family like a genetic defect that couldn't be corrected. In 2014, his father, Kola Beale III, had been convicted of taking his wife's life, Beale's stepmother. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and in the Beale family tree, the fruit was poisonous. Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these content. So here we have two people from completely different worlds, yet somehow these two people found each other and began a relationship that would end in absolute tragedy. According to his social media profiles, Beale claimed to be a music producer. He had some equipment and claimed to create beats, but like everything else in his life, this appeared to be more fantasy than reality. He wasn't providing anything of substance. Not financially, not professionally, not socially. Despite all of this, Xavier not only entered into a relationship with Beale, she seemed to genuinely care about him. She would express her love and appreciation for him on social media, painting a picture of a happy relationship that couldn't have been further from the truth. In one particularly telling social media post for his birthday, Xavier wrote, "My love, it's your day. Thank you for being so patient, so loving, and so kind. It's hard to find the words to express how much you mean, but I will keep writing until it feels like enough. You have the biggest heart I know. Your love for me leaves me speechless. Your support is endless. Your smile and your laugh are contagious. Just the thought of you as I write this makes me smile from ear to ear. Thanks for keeping me on my toes, for being everything I needed and more. As you close out your 20s, remember with God, nothing is impossible. Every dream in your heart will come to pass, and every desire is already yours. Your best days are ahead of you. Cheers to 30, to more birthdays, and to more Dollar Tree runs. Happy birthday, my king." Reading those words now, knowing how this story ends, is absolutely heartbreaking. Here was this accomplished, educated woman calling a convicted felon with a history of violence her king. She was speaking life into someone who would ultimately...
That's the thing. She was speaking life into a man that was no good for her, and that one day she was going to find out who he really was. Nothing but an evil, demonic devil. And sometimes you cannot speak life into a man when you start to sin his ways, especially if he started being demonic towards you. He's not no king. Don't tell him he a king. He ain't no damn king. You call that motherfucker for what the fuck he is. Period.
speak death to her, literally. Xavier possessed what many people described as a compassionate heart and a deep faith in Christ. This combination allowed her to consistently see the good in people, even when that good might not have actually existed. Unfortunately for Xavier, the person who seemed to be her loving and supportive boyfriend was not at all what he appeared to be. While Xavier was posting about her king and his biggest heart, she was actually living with a ticking time bomb. As their relationship progressed...
You know what? I'm glad you asked that, honey, because I really don't know. I didn't watch the whole thing because I be having so much going on sometimes. Y'all trying to keep y'all with stories and stuff. So I don't know if she knew his background because I was wondering that too. But if she did, that was a big red flag for her to leave him alone. But as the story go on, we might find out if she knew or if she didn't know. But thanks for asking that.
Xavier's family began to take notice of the man their daughter and sister was spending her time with. They started asking questions, reasonable questions that any loving family would ask. Questions like, what does he do for work? What are his plans for the future? How is he contributing to this relationship? How will he provide? These were the questions that people who love you ask when they want to make sure you're making good decisions. For Beal, these questions represented something much more threatening. They represented people who might convince Xavier to leave him. And for a man with his background, his family history, and his deep-seated issues with rejection and abandonment, that possibility was unacceptable. For nearly 15 months, Xavier had been in this relationship, supporting not just herself, but apparently him as well. Her parents had rarely even seen him during this time. As Beal himself would later admit, they had only come to check on their daughter maybe twice during the year and a half they had been together. But now that Xavier was moving to the next chapter of her life, building her business and establishing her career, her family wanted answers. And those answers were exposing the truth that Beal had been desperate to hide.
I had been there with her for almost 15 months, 16 months. And they had never came to check on her. I only seen them come to check on her twice out of almost a year and a half.
But they didn't give you no right to kill her.
I had been there for her emotionally, physically, and spiritually, but it was when she tried to move on to the next chapter in her life, when her mom asked, how will he provide? Now that you about to get a good job, how will he provide? I was getting ready to launch a business.
Beal claiming he was getting ready to launch a business while having no visible means of support, no job, and a criminal record that made him practically unemployable was exactly the kind of empty promise that concerned Xavier's family. They could see through the excuses and the false promises because they weren't blinded by whatever hold he had over their daughter. The family's questions were having an effect on Xavier too. Beal noticed that it just made...
I think he didn't like the mom and daddy, whether she was coming around or not. The mom and daddy probably already seen shit in his ass that they didn't like. So that's probably why the mom and daddy wasn't coming around. And the mom and daddy, may knew that he wasn't right, and maybe she wasn't going to leave him. You know what I'm saying? But that still didn't give you no right to kill their daughter. You understand what I'm saying? You was talking about you were going to launch a business with what money? You didn't have any money. You didn't have anything. You started getting upset because of what the mother and father was asking the daughter about you. What can you bring to the table? You had nothing to bring to the table at all.
Her, start to act different. The woman who had been defending him, supporting him, and calling him her king on social media was beginning to see what everyone else had been seeing all along. This change in Xavier's attitude was dangerous for a man like Beal. He had invested 15 months in this relationship, not because he loved her, but because she represented everything he couldn't achieve on his own. She had the education he lacked, the success he envied, the respect he craved, and the legitimate life he could never build for himself. The thought of losing access to all of that, of going back to being just another convicted felon with no prospects and no future, was more than his fragile ego could handle. March 22nd, 2022 started like any other day, but it would end with a level of violence that shocked even seasoned law enforcement officers. The argument that erupted between Xavier and Beal that day was about the fundamental incompatibility between who she was and who he would always be. But what happened next revealed the true depth of Beal's evil nature. During their argument, Beal's rage reached a breaking point. But instead of directing his anger solely at Xavier, he turned his attention to her beloved dog, Prince. He grabbed the innocent animal and put him in a room, planning to pour bleach on the dog and set him on fire. He wanted to make her watch something she loved be destroyed in the most painful way imaginable. This was his own way of establishing complete dominance, and he was happy to do it through the most cruel means possible. But what happened next showed the true character of both people involved in this tragedy. When Xavier saw what Beal was planning to do to her dog, she made a choice that perfectly captured who she was as a person. She told him, "No, don't do nothing to the dog. You can take me and do whatever you want to do to me instead, and let him live." Beal's response to this act of love and sacrifice: "So I did that. I did exactly that because she started making a lot of noise. I did exactly that." He shot 31-year-old Javier Hill in the head. Just like that, a woman who had spent her entire life building others up, encouraging people to be their best selves, and spreading positivity in the world, was gone. Taken by a man who had never built anything, never contributed anything, never offered anything of value to anyone. But Beal wasn't finished. The man who couldn't even provide $1,000 for himself, who had been living off his girlfriend's success and generosity, still had more violence to unleash. After taking Javier's life, Beal left the scene, but 2 days later, on March 24th, he returned to complete his revenge against the woman who had tried to save him from himself. He came back to burn down her house, making sure to destroy everything she had worked for. And in a final act of pure cruelty, he made sure that Prince, the dog that Javier had died trying to protect, was still inside the house when he set it ablaze.
The dog died in the fire, but I let the dog live because that's what she told me to do. She said, look, don't hurt him. I was going to set him on fire. She said, don't hurt him. He had nothing to do with this. This is all my fault. This is me. She said it was her fault because she let her mom come in and kind of mess with her head. I said, look, man, don't you? I said, so that's how you feel. She was like, look, whatever you're going to do to him, do it to me. So that's when I shot her in the head. Set that on.
Yo, I think this lady was afraid of him. I think she already knew what was going on with his background. I think she was afraid of him. I don't think she wanted to lose her life. She didn't want to tell this man that because she knew how evil he was. Now, if I was her, no, I wouldn't have said, kill me and leave my dog alive. No, I wouldn't have said that. But we don't know what was the emotions going through her body, what she was thinking. But I do believe all the time that they was together, she knew that this man was not right. It could have been hard for her to break her loose. We don't know. We was not there. I'm just saying it still didn't give him no right to take her life because she said, kill me and leave my dog alive. That's just showing what type of person you already was. You already had a nasty ass history of a background. Your mama oh Lord, let me shut the fuck up. Let me shut up before I get upset.
Fire, set the car on fire. I even ran through the fire trying to get out. I almost got locked into the fire. She already was ready. She was ready to go. Like she went out fight. She was ready to go. She was like, nah, I'll take that. So I left the dog alive, but then I came back to the house and set it on fire, and then I watched the dog burn alive.
The Virginia Beach Fire Department responded to the residents in the 5,500 block of Baccalaureate Drive, but by the time they arrived, there was nothing left to save. Javier's body was found inside the home, and the cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound to the head. But for Beal, one life wasn't enough to satisfy his rage. 12 hours after taking Javier's life, he drove to the home of 73-year-old Clifton Baxter on Linda Court in Virginia Beach. Baxter was the man who had raised Beal for 15 years after his biological father was absent from his life. Baxter was a Vietnam veteran who had opened his home and his heart to a young man who needed guidance and support. But in Beal's twisted mind, love and support weren't enough. He felt entitled to something more, something that belonged to him simply because he wanted it. Beal would later explain his reasoning for taking the life of the man who had been like a father to him.
He basically raised me. He basically raised me. Like I was raised with him for 15 years, but at the same time, when I needed him the most, he wasn't there. So at the same time, when I needed this and that, just something to get on my feet, he tell me he ain't had nothing. But when I killed him, I found $20,000.
The entitlement?
Did you hear that? Did y'all hear that? When you killed him, you found $20,000. And you killed him because he wouldn't help you. That he didn't have to. You was a grown-ass motherfucking man. Find your motherfucking way, boy. You're evil bitch. That's what you are. You need to rot in jail. They need to give you the death penalty. You don't need to see another fucking day. You always been evil from birth. When you was wearing Pampers, bitch, you was evil. There's nothing good in you at all. And may God rest this lady's soul in peace. And may God rest that man's soul in peace. That man was trying to be a stepfather to you, something you didn't have. You didn't even know your own father. And you went over there and killed that man, and he didn't have nothing to do with this because you asked him for money and he told you he didn't have it.
In those words is staggering. Here was a 30-year-old man complaining that his 73-year-old adoptive father wouldn't give him money on demand, a man who had already provided 15 years of care, guidance, and support to someone who clearly didn't deserve it.
So this whole time, if you had gave me 1,000, I would have been good.
She said him and Los can be brothers.
That's not to, anybody would take the 20 grand. If you hit the lotto, you gonna take the 20 grand, right? I'm just asking. I mean, you ask the question, I'm gonna ask questions too. Anybody can take 20 grand if they see it and ain't nobody gonna stop it.
Beal had just taken the life of a man who loved him because that man wouldn't hand over his life savings to support Beal's failures. After shooting Clifton Baxter in the head, Beal stole the $20,000 from his safe and left the Vietnam veteran's body in his own home, another victim of Beal's bottomless sense of entitlement. But the killing spree wasn't over yet. With $20,000 in stolen money and 2 lives already taken, Beal made his way to Norfolk to visit his cousin, 32-year-old Downing McLean. When Beal arrived at his cousin's home on Sewell's Point Road, he told McLean about what he had done. McLean's reaction was reportedly to laugh and treat the whole situation like it was some kind of joke. This response triggered something even more violent in Beal's already twisted mind. Here he was, having just taken 2 innocent lives, and his own cousin was laughing about it. But what happened next revealed that McLean might not have been as innocent as he appeared. According to Beal's later confession, McLean suggested that since Beal was already in it, they should go take care of some people who had been causing problems for McLean, people who supposedly wanted to harm him. In other words, McLean wanted to use his newly murderous cousin as his personal hitman. But the partnership didn't last long. During their time together, McLean became increasingly erratic and confrontational. Beal would later describe what happened.
So at the same time, he had seen both bodies. My cousin had seen both bodies, but he laughed at him. He made it seem like it was a joke. To me, it was something like, okay, I didn't want to do it, but I did it because I was snapping. So in the midst of everything, I was going to take care of some things with him for some people that wanted to kill him.
The situation escalated quickly. McLean started
snapping on everybody that's around us
and became increasingly difficult to control. He was drinking, yelling, and completely out of control, even though Beal had just confessed to 2 murders. Beal's patience ran out.
I got fed up with him because he kept talking like you not about this, you not gonna do nothing. Like, bro, I just killed 2 people. You don't think I'm ready to shoot again?
Damn.
So
yeah, this man's sick.
And started getting loud and raging. So I went right in the kitchen and right in the head. He didn't drop. He kept moving in circles. Then I shot him in the back to make sure he hit the ground.
The cold, matter-of-fact way Beal described taking his own cousin's life was absolutely chilling. He showed no emotion, no regret, no recognition that he had just destroyed another family. McLean was found dead from gunshot wounds inside his Norfolk home, becoming the 3rd victim in Beal's 4-day reign of terror. 3 days, 3 victims. Each person killed for a different reason, but all sharing one common thread. They had something that Beal wanted, or they represented something that threatened his fragile ego. After taking his cousin's life, Beal wasn't finished. He took McLean's girlfriend as a hostage and drove to Hampton, where he rented an Airbnb. While law enforcement agencies across Hampton roads launched a massive manhunt, Beal was calmly watching news coverage of his own crimes on television. But even while hiding from police, Beal was already planning his next move. He admitted that during his time at the Airbnb, "I started planning who his next target would be. This wasn't a man who had snapped temporarily and then come to his senses. This was someone who was actively looking for more people to harm." Police throughout Hampton Roads and federal marshals launched an intensive search for the man they now knew was extremely dangerous. A $10,000 reward was offered for information leading to his capture. News outlets across the region were broadcasting his photo and warning the public about the armed and dangerous individual who was still on the loose. For nearly a week, Beal managed to evade capture while law enforcement agencies coordinated their efforts across multiple jurisdictions. The manhunt involved local police, federal marshals, and specialized units all working around the clock to find him before he could claim another victim. Finally, on March 30th, approximately 11:55 p.m., the Hampton Police Division SWAT team apprehended Beal in the Buckrow area of Hampton. The week-long reign of terror was finally over. But what happened after his arrest was almost as disturbing as the crimes themselves. Instead of showing any remorse or regret for the lives he had taken, Beale was eager to talk about what he had done. He gave extensive interviews to news media, speaking about his crimes with a level of detail and casualness that shocked even experienced reporters. When asked directly if he had shot his girlfriend and burned her house down, Beale responded without hesitation, "Yeah, I did." When asked where he shot her, he replied matter-of-factly, "I shot her in the head." Throughout these interviews, Beale showed zero remorse for any of his actions. He blamed everyone else for his choices. Severe's parents for asking reasonable questions, his adoptive father for not giving him money on demand, his cousin for not taking his murder seriously enough. When asked if he wanted to apologize, his response was chilling.
Would you like to apologize?
Nah.
Why?
Cause what's done is done. I ain't gonna have no remorse. They ain't gonna have no remorse. So I mean, I'm gonna keep it just like I sent it. But I want the electric chair because I'm ready to leave on. I'm ready to move on. I ain't. That's it. I mean, it's over with.
The legal proceedings moved forward, with Beale facing multiple charges across 2 jurisdictions. In Virginia Beach, he was charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of arson, abduction, torturing an animal to death, and various gun charges. In Norfolk, he faced additional charges for his cousin's murder. The trial revealed the full extent of Beale's crimes through evidence that was difficult for everyone involved to process. Ring camera footage from Javir's home captured the argument before the fatal gunshot, after which her voice was never heard again. Another video showed her mother stopping by the house, but not going inside, a decision that likely saved her life. Perhaps most damning was the footage showing Beale returning to the house with a gas can, wearing a towel over his face as he prepared to burn down everything Javir had worked so hard to build. During the trial proceedings, Beale's behavior continued to show his complete lack of respect for the legal process and the families of his victims. When the guilty verdict was read on all 8 charges, he yelled out in court, "Can y'all get this over with?" The judge immediately ordered him removed from the courtroom, but the outburst caused additional pain to the families who were already suffering from their losses. The verdict was swift and decisive. Guilty on all charges. 2 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of arson, abduction, torturing an animal to death, and gun charges. The jury had heard all the evidence and seen through any attempts at justification or explanation. Interestingly, between his arrest and sentencing, Beale's attitude seemed to shift slightly. In later interviews, he claimed to have developed some remorse for his actions, saying he had come out of what he called a blackout or trance. "So do you feel remorse for what you did?" a reporter asked. "Yes, ma'am," he replied. But even this apparent change of heart felt hollow and calculated.
Nah, I was just to the point where I already knew after the first one, it was a wrap. You know what I mean, I had enough ammo. I had enough ammo to kill a lot of more people. But you know what I mean, I guess it's thankful that the U.S. Marshals got me through whatever.
Lord,
you know what
have
I'm
mercy,
saying? Because I definitely was about to get out the next day and do something. I want the electric chair because I'm ready to leave on. I'm ready to move on. I ain't. That's it. You know what I mean, it's over with. I love my family. I love my kids. I love my business. You know what I mean? Of course, my girlfriend. Everything is gone. So the electric chair would be the best thing for me. Nah. Cause what's done is done. I ain't gonna have no remorse. They ain't gonna have no remorse. So I mean, I'm gonna keep it just like I sent it. I did everything individually for a different reason.
That's a sick man, y'all. That man's sick. He always been sick. Sorry your mama didn't teach you better and get you no help.
Well, I thought I shot my pops in the head. I thought I shot my stepdad in the head. You know what I mean? They was all scattered through the house. Yeah, about 20 guns and about $20,000. Nah, for what? I mean, I'm about to, you know what I mean? I'm not living no more. I'm just here. I'm just in jail right now. Had I just got into a shootout with the U.S. Marshals, I would have been dead or still on the run if they ain't finished me. So I wouldn't even be sitting right here in front of you. I just sitting right here in front of you because the house that was next to me in the Airbnb had 2 little boys in it and a family, and I knew they was in the house, so I knew if I came out shooting, it was a chance they could have got killed. I ain't want my kids to get killed, so I ain't even come out shooting. I let the shorty go, and I just walked out. I mean, I ain't even do it. I could have shot it out to the death, but it ain't matter. Because at the end of the day, this is my last time. This is our last time hearing my voice. After that, it's over with. I was asleep. I had just took a shower and I was asleep. I was playing some music. I just lay down, went to sleep, and I heard this big truck come up. It was like an army truck come up. Every time I looked out the window, they kept saying left, right, left, right. I knew it was them. Hell no. And when you on the run, that's the whole point, not to get caught. I mean, keep doing as much damage as you can do and keep staying on the run. I mean, who goes on the run and want to get caught? I mean, I had a few people in mind, but I mean, I can't get to them now. You know what I'm saying? And it was just people who did me wrong, people who did like crazy shit, like people that deserve that shit. You know what I mean? And they see it coming, but it's too late to speak about that now. Well, I mean, I have my own reasons. No. So what made me snap was, it was like I was to the point where I had so much stuff was going on between me, probation, everything. Like the probation really made me snap because they reset my probation after 2 years and I ain't did shit wrong. And then they found out I wasn't even guilty of a sex charge that I was wearing for 4 years. And when they didn't want to fix it, they made me wear the shit. Even after I took a polygraph, after I took the polygraph, they found out the sex charge was some bullshit.
You're right, Lante World.
They still said I had to go through the process of the sex offender program, the class, but they probation officers didn't do their job. So they reset my probation for a low when I won't really have to see my probation officer for like every 3 months to every day, two house visits, to me showing up to the office once a month. Like I had to reset my whole life again. Like I just came home, so I figured, hey, you know what I mean, if y'all gonna keep putting this pressure on me for some shit I ain't doing, I might as well be doing some shit and y'all can hear me. So that was another reason. That was a whole nother reason. I told you each person had a different reason why I did it. It won't just like I just woke up and said I'm gonna kill my girlfriend. It won't like that. You know what I mean? It was the outsiders. It was the it was her mom who was trying to like orchestrate her and then moving away from me when I had been there for her daughter the whole time while I wasn't nobody around. I had been staying there at the house with her for almost 2 years. I ain't seen them but 2 times come to the house. So she didn't even want to start a new job. She asked me if I was cool with her starting a new job. I was like, yeah, why not? I was about to start my business. But it comes to her mom, like she asked her just like this. She said, well, what about him? He ain't working, but he providing for himself. But what about him? What he gonna do? So it started messing with her. She started breaking down, crying, all that other stuff. And now I'm in there taking care of her because her mom called her crying about that. So, and what really pissed me off was I had killed her on Tuesday when we got into it. So her mom pulled up to the house on Wednesday. I had her phone. I'm texting her mom back and forth like I'm hurt. And she knew something was wrong. But remember, I told you I ain't seen her twice in the whole almost 2 years come to the house. So her mom drives to the house. I'm watching you on camera pull up. You drove all the way about 30 minutes to the house from Suffolk to see if she was okay. You had a key to the house. You did not go in the house to see if she was okay. So that already told me you really ain't care, but you cared enough to say something to her about me. To fuck up what we had going on. So now I was like, fuck it, that pissed me off even more. So I'm like, I'm gonna set that shit on fire. I don't even care. Because you didn't even care to open up the door to see if she was all right. She been in there. So that's when I went back and did that. Set that on fire, set the car on fire. You know what I mean? I even ran through the fire trying to get out. I almost got locked into the fire.
You should have died in there.
I was locked up at the time when he did it.
For you.
She was writing me all the time. She had wrote me in the letter, and at the end of the letter, she told me she knew she was about to go. She said she felt it. She felt like she wasn't gonna be here no longer.
Because she felt like she knew you was gonna kill her. She knew you were a sick
and that kind of hurt me. Kind of like, damn, that was the only one really writing me when I was gone. Yeah, and for him to do that, that was like another crush, and that was like another pain. I didn't know what he felt, but I mean, I tried to stay in contact with him, but when I came home, I just cut him off. And right before I started to try to get back in contact with him, that's when this happened.
Yes, OG. I used to watch him when he was a child. Wait, girl, you know him? I used to watch him when he was a child. I never would expect that, even though he was a little troublemaker. Really? Oh my God, girl. Jesus. And you're right, Ebony. The mama knew something was wrong. That's why the mama went to their house. But thank God the mama didn't go in, because he probably would have killed the mama. This motherfucker crazy. Hey, Miss Rose, I don't believe she said that. I don't believe she said that neither, you know. But I do believe Ebony, she was scared of him. I do believe that she was scared of him. She probably knew what not to say. Excuse me. You know, and what to say. And because she knew she probably would have said different things, it would have provoked him. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that she was afraid of this man. I definitely do believe that. And I believe this is why the mother stepped back a little bit from the daughter because of this man. Maybe the daughter knew too and was afraid to leave him because she knew what he was capable of doing. He's just not going to tell the real story about it, but I do believe that. Yeah, he was scaring me. And I'm just watching. I know that's right, sis. Yes, this nigga crazy. I don't know who asked for the coffee link, but it is in the chat.
To be in a sound mind right now is not even.
Nor the red flags.
Nah, because all I'm doing right now, I keep seeing flashbacks of everything, like everything when I did it and everything people were saying to me before they left. Like I'm still visualizing that now. It's playing back like it's on repeat right now in my head, and all I'm seeing is red. All I see is fire.
Ooh, I don't see no Lord help him,
right now. All I see is red. I can see red all over your face right now. I don't see nothing. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, I'm just here right now. Nah, because what's done is done. I ain't gonna cry about it. I gotta move through it now.
Y'all, he really telling that lady, if I wasn't behind these bars, I'll kill your ass too. Okay, did y'all pick up what he just said? Woo, Lord have mercy. This is unbelievable. I never heard nothing like this in my life.
They put me in a chair. However fast that take. The dog died in the fire, but I let the dog live because that's what she told me to do. She said, look, don't hurt him. I mean, I was gonna set him on fire. She said, don't hurt him. He had nothing to do with this. This is all my fault. This is me. She said it was her fault because she let her mom come in and kind of mess with her head. I said, look, man, I said, so that's how you feel. She was like, look, whatever you're gonna do to him, do it to me. That's when I shot her in the head. I probably don't need one. If anyone represent me, cool, but they don't, it don't even matter. It don't even matter to me right now. I know I ain't gonna see the light of day again. So when you know you ain't gonna see the light of day, your family, nothing, you ain't gonna see no money, no nothing. What do you care about seeing people for now? I done lived my life. This is it. All y'all I'm seeing right now, this is my last time I see y'all unless I see y'all on TV. I'm already reaching my fate right now. That's why I'm talking to y'all.
I'm going to tell y'all this. This man here went through something as a child. I don't know what happened. He never said nothing about his mama or his dad. I only know about the elderly man that raised him as his son. He went out and killed that man. Now, I don't know about the mother because he never mentioned anything of the mother. I don't know if his real father did something to him. His mother did something to him. I don't know if he was molested. Something went wrong in this man's life, and it wasn't good. Okay? And he never came back from it. Something went wrong in this man's life. And I am so sorry that this family got caught up with this demon. I am so sorry that the stepfather came into this man's life to be a father, and that's the way he treated that man. Lord have mercy.
You said what was the what? The message? It wasn't really a message. I snapped. And when she told me take her and do whatever to her instead of the dog.
Right, you're right, Ebony.
Let me know
Absolutely right. I forgot.
She already was ready. She was ready to go. Like she went out fight. She was ready to go. She was like, nah, I'll take that. So I left the dog alive, but then I came back to the house and set it on fire, and then I watched the dog burn alive.
That's true, Ebony.
We spent the whole week talking. We spent the whole week talking about her starting her job and everything. And she cried because she had been in the house with me for a year. This week we helped each other launch our businesses. I mean, get our credit, everything straight. We had everything level, but it was the outsiders coming in, fucking it up for her and putting her in this mode. And I couldn't stop it because they had her. I didn't. And it wasn't her dad, it was her mom. Her dad was cool. He didn't say much. It was her mom that got in her head because she kept questioning and questioning to the point she broke down like 3 times crying about it. Because we had just got through it of us like separating, she going to work, I'm gonna still be at home, but then I'm about to launch my business. Like, it was like, we was good. We had finally got in the comfort zone. We was just getting stuff prepared for the house. I was getting her stuff prepared for her office when she get her desk or her new job. But that ain't work. It ain't work. Yeah. I feel sad every time I think about it because I be trying to reset it to see like how I could have stopped it, but I just get stuck with everything else that happened after that.
Shit, them police officers, they probably scared of his ass too.
So what was the question? I tried to keep from following in his footsteps, but for some reason, when I snapped, it was so much going on, and
you right,
and
Patricia.
at the time, I wasn't seeing nothing else but red. It was just so much. It was so much I was dealing with from left and right, and I got tired, man. I got real tired, and when I had people outside orchestrating on my relationship when we was good, it was like I couldn't win. I couldn't win at all. You can't have a relationship with somebody on the outside controlling it at the same time when this is what you want and that's what they want. And that's what we talked about for a whole week. And for some reason, if you don't like me and I'm with somebody that's your family, you don't have to deal with me. You don't have to talk with me. But that wasn't how it was presented in the beginning. So in the end, when we finally made it through and she was about to get her job, we thought we was good. But that question came up. No, hell no. Because now I got a son that I got a son now that I probably won't be able to talk to anymore. Or if his mom is cool or however it goes, however they life goes behind my actions, I just hope that he can break it. That's why I ain't give him my last name. That's why I ain't give him my name.
Damn. Woo,
He
Lord,
threw.
have mercy.
That's why I ain't give him my name, so he ain't got to worry about living with this name.
Ooh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus.
Never. Never did that.
Damn, Miss Walker. I don't think I could have interviewed him. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't think I could have interviewed him. Babe, my PTSD would have been all over the place. Ain't no way.
Nah. She was one of the only people that really could like keep me level. Like she was there. She was cool. You feel me? So after I had that, it was like she was the only one that could like keep me sane from all the crazy stuff that was going on around me. So when she was gone, I felt like my whole world was gone. But after I had snapped, that was it. Is there anything else I want to add? I just want my family to know if I don't talk to them ever again that I mean I know y'all feel some type of way about it, but I have no remorse
I
about
tell
it.
you, I
I
was
mean I
going to cut
tried
him off
calling, but I have
a
no remorse
few
about
minutes
it.
ago, girl.
I
For
did not
real.
just kill my cousin just to kill him. I was out there to help him kill some people that wanted to kill him. But instead of doing that, he put my life in jeopardy. And now he ended up getting killed by me because he wanted to move in circles and scream and try to beat on his girlfriend and all that in front of me. And I was in the house with him for at least 48 hours. And for him to even go off and keep going off, and I told him I just killed 2 people, and you seen both of the bodies, and you laughed at him. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I ain't trying to hear it. So yes, I blacked out on him. I told him, look, stop, calm down. Whole bunch of yelling, he raging. So I said, all right, bet. So when I went in the kitchen, I just headshot him, and then he ain't dropped, so I shot him in the back. So just for that, I mean, the family know it. So all I can say is I hope and I hope that my son be better than me. And I mean, he ain't got to worry about having a name, but be stronger than me and do better and make sure he take care of his family. At least he got a chance. Yeah, I have a lot to say. Even a week before this happened, I left a video recording in his tablet at his grandma's house. So if something ever happened to me, he can listen to it. And it was just kind of like building him up, kind of like talking to him as if I was gone already. Like for some reason, it felt like I was leaving like I was about to leave the world anyway. So I had already left him like a farewell message way before I felt all this. And it was wild because now this happened. I didn't see this happening. But I recorded a video in his tablet, so if he ever see it getting older, he'll know what I meant for him. So I mean, if I were to say something to him now, I'd say continue to be strong, pay attention, be the best he could be. You know what I mean, be there, to protect his mom, take care of his grandma while he here. You know what I mean, listen to his mom, and for whatever else he could do, stay active and like something that can keep his mind focused on what he want to do. You know what I mean, and I love him. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter as well. She should be 13.
I hope she don't be like you. Hey, Miss Joyce. He said he has no remorse. He said it more than once.
Kola Beale IV will spend the rest of his life in prison, where he belongs. But the lives of Xavier Hill, Clifton Baxter, and Downing McLean can never be restored. Their families will carry this pain forever, and the world has lost the positive contributions these people could have continued to make. The most important lesson from this tragedy is simple but vital. When people show you who they are, through their actions and their history, believe them. Don't make excuses. Don't try to save them. Don't convince yourself that your situation is different or that your love is special enough to change someone who has already proven they're dangerous. Your life is too valuable to waste on someone who doesn't deserve it. And as Xavier Hill's story tragically proves, sometimes the cost of ignoring that truth is the ultimate price. Rest in peace, Xavier Hill. Your light was extinguished far too soon, but the lessons from your story could help save others from the same fate. So that's it for today's video. Stay safe out there, and I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you.
Lord, y'all, I never heard nothing like this in my life. Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Anybody want to come up? They're welcome to come up. Y'all, I don't even know what to say. Like, literally, y'all, it's like, oh my God, it's like my mind is just, I cannot. This man, you know what? He wasn't mad because of her mom. I think he was mad because, yeah, probably was because of her mom, and he couldn't control her. It was a controlling thing there with him too. Okay, I definitely believe that it was a controlling thing with him. Something they was ready to build a business. What business? You got mad because when her mother asked her, what about you and your funds? What can you bring to the table? And then maybe she probably said something to you about it and you got upset about it. But you didn't have nothing to bring to the table. What do you have to bring to the table? You had nothing to bring to the table. You ain't have no job. You just was going out here killing everybody. That's what you was doing. You ain't had no remorse for her family. Talking about her mother should have stayed out with it, but her father was a good father. But, you know, he didn't get in too much. You know, of course, maybe the father didn't, but you got to remember that was her daughter. That was her daughter. Oh, Lord, y'all, he really got me in my feelings. I don't even know if I want to play another one, honey, because he got me in my feelings, y'all. I ain't even going to hold y'all. He do. I never. This is, oh my God, like I never, oh Lord Jesus, help me. That was so sad. And then go stay, that's why I didn't give my kids my last name. Girl, boy, if I was the mama, honey, I wouldn't even tell my kids you their father if they didn't know. But they probably know by now, Lord. But God bless them children, honey. God bless them children. You got to be careful who you let your kids date out here. Because, baby, these men is mental. They're mental. Something wrong with them. Ooh, Lord. Lord, y'all. And the lady in the chat said she used to watch him. Girl, was you scared of him? Ooh, Lord. I don't think I wanted to watch him. I don't know. I don't got in my feelings, y'all. Oh, Lord, this man was a demon. He was definitely a demon. Let me see. I don't know what to say, y'all. I mean, if y'all got some words y'all want to say, y'all can come up and say it, child. But honey, I don't know what to say. Only that I know, he was a heartless mother sucker. They need to go on and kill him. I ain't even gonna lie. He don't need to be alive. You know, he really don't. He don't need to live. I'm trying to find this other one if I can. But this boy over here got my nerves bad, child. Got my nerves bad, like my nerves. It ain't right. I got so many damn. I don't know if I can find this one either. I got so much on my list. Oh, God. I wasn't even going to do these many stories today, but because I normally do 2 a day. I don't know if I can find this one. Let me see. I got so many stories, y'all. I don't know. I don't know if I can find that one. Shit. I might have to wait for this one. I don't know. I don't want to keep going. Yeah, have talk with your kids, your nieces, and your nephews, because, baby, when you see these red flags, you better get them to run. Better get them to run. Let me see, is this it? Let me see. Damn. That's crazy. That man was sick. Let me see. The one I really want for y'all, I don't think I could find it right now. I don't know. Okay. All right. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Can I bring it up? Hold on. Can y'all hear something? This one kind of low a little bit, but let me know if y'all can hear it.
Harris James and Jerry Scott have been sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, followed by 18 to 23 years.
This is the worst form of violence that could possibly occur.
James's defense attorney asked Judge Eric Allen Marks to consider a possibility for a second chance, asking for a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 20 years.
In this sentencing, we're not asking for leniency, but we are asking the court to consider the possibility of redemption. Mr. James comes before this court as a young man with a limited criminal history.
And Scott's did the same, saying this is a tragic case, leaving a family not having 2 loved ones, something that Scott's family will now experience.
Now, Mr. Scott's family is going to feel the same penalty, and they're going to lose Mr. Scott in their life for a period of time.
But Judge Marks spoke of the harm brought to the family that no longer has Tamisha Price and her unborn daughter, Malaysia Liani. A victim advocate read letters from Price's parents who wrote about her excitement to have a baby girl.
She talked about Malaysia and that she would probably play sports because she was very active. She talked about Malaysia playing with her brothers and how they would spoil their baby sister. She talked about having to plan sleepovers, Girl Scout, family trips to Hawaii, and so many things concerning Malaysia.
Price also leaves behind 2 sons, and her parents say they are taking care of them.
We will spend the rest of our lives making sure they are rebuilt and restored from the terrible memories these people have created.
2 men, 2 life sentences, 1 mother, 1 daughter, gone. 7 days. That's all that separated a baby shower filled with pink balloons and laughter from a quiet Toledo house turned crime scene. 34-year-old Tamisha Price was radiant that week. glowing in photos, her sons teasing her about baby names, her parents helping her prepare for the daughter she'd always dreamed of. But joy has a way of drawing shadows. The man who should have shared her excitement, Paris James, seemed distant. There was tension between love, loyalty, and fear of what came next. And then there were others in the background. Friends, acquaintances, people whose names would soon surface when the unthinkable happened. Early morning, January 24th, 2024. Gunfire ripped through the silence of Tamisha's home. Her two sons woke to chaos, unaware their world had just been split in half. By sunrise, Toledo police were at the scene, and an investigation began that would peel back a story far more complicated than anyone imagined. How did a week of celebration become a headline? Who entered that house and why? And how far would someone go to erase a future they never wanted? This is the story of Tamisha Price and her unborn daughter, Malaysia Lini, a mother's dream of new life and the choices that turned it into tragedy. If you're into real true crime stories, stories that dig deep into the facts and the people behind them, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every single day, so there's always another case to uncover, another truth to explore. She was Toledo tough from the very beginning, born and raised in Ohio by parents who believed in work, faith, and family. Tamisha Price learned early that the world wouldn't hand her anything, so she built her own. Her parents, Tyler and Stacy, gave her the kind of foundation that never cracks. Tell the truth, stand your ground, and always take care of your own. It was the kind of love that shaped her into a woman who didn't just survive. She showed up. By her mid-30s, Tamisha had carved out a life built on quiet strength. She worked for the Ohio school system as a case manager and administrator. One of those people who never make the news but hold entire communities together. She wasn't chasing titles or praise. She wanted to make a difference, one student at a time. Her colleagues described her as the kind of woman who'd chase down a resource, call a parent 3 times, or stay late just to make sure a child didn't fall through the cracks. Compassionate, yes, but relentless. Her pride and joy were her 2 sons, Jaden and Lizzie, and everything she did circled back to them. Jaden, the older one, was the musician, a natural drummer whose rhythm could pull attention in any room. His father played bass, and together they created this heartbeat of family music that filled their home. Tamisha would record their sessions, laughing from behind the camera, her voice floating in the background, proud, encouraging herself. Lizzie was younger, a ball of energy who lived for basketball. Practices, games, tournaments. If the gym lights were on, she was there in the stands. She wasn't just a spectator, she was a cheer section of one. Everyone knew her voice. She was that kind of mother, the one who knew every stat, every score, every dream. And when the workday ended, she had another side that came alive online. On TikTok, Tamisha wasn't the administrator or the mom balancing schedules. She was playful, confident, unfiltered. She made comedy skits with her cousin, poked fun at herself, gave fashion tips, and sometimes shared travel clips, just pieces of joy that said, "I'm still me." The videos showed a woman who had learned how to laugh through exhaustion, how to hold herself high even when life was heavy. But behind the laughter was something softer, something she'd always wanted, a daughter. For years she'd joked about it, imagining little matching outfits, braiding hair, taking trips together. After 2 boys, she wanted the kind of bond she'd had with her own mother. And in 2023, that dream finally started to take shape. When she found out she was pregnant, she glowed differently. The test wasn't just positive, it was hope. She picked out a name early, Malaysia Lini. Her sons were thrilled. Jaden wanted to help with lullabies. Lizzie wanted to teach her basketball. Her parents cried when they heard. It was like the family had been waiting for this little girl all along. Tamisha documented everything. Her maternity photos were soft and full of light. Pink gowns, hands resting protectively over her stomach, joy radiating from her face. She posted captions about blessings and gratitude, about how complete she finally felt. And then came January 17th, 2024. A baby shower her family would never forget. The room was drenched in pink balloons, pink flowers. Even the cake had Malaysia's name written in looping cursive. Friends toasted to her new beginning, and Tamisha smiled through it all, radiant and ready. She joked that Malaysia was already spoiled, that her daughter was coming into the world surrounded by nothing but love.
Hold on, y'all. Let me take it off the commercial. Hold on.
She couldn't have known that celebration would be her last week of peace. Because while she planned her future, someone else was quietly planning something else entirely. The man who should have shared in her excitement, Paris James, 35, wasn't celebrating. To the outside world, he was the father of her unborn child. But privately, things were strained. What started as a relationship with potential had turned into distance and denial. When Tamisha told him she was pregnant, Paris's reaction wasn't fear, it was rejection. He questioned whether the baby was even his. He pushed her to end the pregnancy, sending message after message, trying to convince her that bringing a child into the world was a mistake. Tamisha stood firm. She wanted this baby. This was her daughter, the one she'd prayed for, the one she already loved. At first, Paris seemed to shift his tone. He started saying he'd support her decision, that he'd help financially, but the words felt hollow. Prosecutors would later describe those messages as performance, a way to look reasonable while he thought about something darker. And then, like a cruel twist, came another truth. Paris wasn't just expecting one baby.
Was beautiful.
He had another woman, Shatwi, a triplet, and she was also pregnant, about 6 months along. 2 pregnancies, 2 women, and 1 man who didn't seem to want to be a father to one of the children. As the weeks passed, Tamisha's family began to notice her trying to manage tension she wouldn't fully explain. She wasn't scared, she was disappointed, maybe even hurt, but she carried herself with the same calm determination she always had. She focused on her boys, her job, and preparing for Malaysia's arrival. Still, there were details that stood out later. Jaden once mentioned how the back door of their house was always locked. It was a rule his mother never broke. But on nights when Paris visited, somehow, that door would end up unlocked after he left. Small things. Easy to dismiss until they weren't. As the baby shower faded into the background and January moved forward, tension seemed to tighten around Tamisha's life like a closing hand. Her parents, Tyler and Stacy, had planned a trip to Hawaii that week, a celebration of retirement and family milestones. It was the first time they'd been away that long in years. And later, investigators would point to that timing as more than coincidence. They would call it opportunity. The days between that pink-filled shower and what came next felt normal from the outside. Tamisha posted, smiled, nested. But under the surface, something darker was already in motion. According to the state's later theory, Paris wasn't content to walk away quietly. At some point, prosecutors believe he tried to enlist someone else to harm Tamisha, someone who turned him down. And when that failed, he turned to another, Jerry Scott, 26, a friend whose loyalty was misplaced in the worst possible way. In hindsight, everything lines up, the quiet behavior, the timing, the way life can shift from celebration to tragedy in just 7 days. From the outside, nothing looked wrong. From the inside, something deadly was forming. And as that final week unfolded, the distance between pink balloons and black headlines grew smaller, until joy and danger existed.
Yeah, he cheated on one of these women and got another woman pregnant. But the main woman, the one that he wanted her to have abortion, I think that was the woman that, he didn't want to have the baby. He only wanted to have the baby by the first woman. And yes, I do think some of these judges need to be held accountable by letting some of these convicted felonies come home, especially with some of their backgrounds. Because you think they won't do it again? Yeah, they're repeated offenders. They will do the same thing again. And I agree with you. Some of these judges need to get it together because it's just not fair.
Listed in the same breath. Everything was ready for Malaysia's arrival. Tiny clothes folded, a name waiting to be spoken. But what Tamisha didn't know was that someone else was already planning how to make sure she and Malaysia would never get the chance to meet. And that's where the countdown begins. On one late night in January, just a week after the baby shower, Tamisha Price, 8 months pregnant and exhausted, had settled into bed. Her body ached in the way only late pregnancy can. Part pain, part anticipation. Her boyfriend Paris had visited earlier in the night, apparently to check up on her, but he left not long after. But down the hall, her two sons, Jaden and Lizzie, were asleep. To anyone passing by on Norton Place, it looked like an ordinary home at rest. Then, sometime before dawn, the silence broke. The first shots came fast, sharp, unnatural, wrong. Jaden jerked awake. He froze, trying to make sense of what he'd just heard. Another shot, then nothing. Just silence, too heavy to breathe through. He crept into the hallway, heart pounding in his chest. From the corner of his eye, he caught movement. A shadow cutting across the kitchen toward the back door, gone before he could see a face. The door that was always locked now stood open. He pushed his mother's bedroom door wider. The smell of gunpowder clung to the air. The sight waiting for him didn't make sense at first. Blood on the sheets, his mother still. He called out her name. No answer. Panic set in, but he knew what to do. He grabbed his phone, dialed 911, and tried to keep his voice steady. The operator told him help was coming. Minutes stretched into forever as he waited. When Toledo police and paramedics arrived, they rushed through the doorway, shouting commands that blurred together. They tried everything, compressions, oxygen, hope, but it was too late. 34-year-old Tamisha Price was gone. Her unborn daughter, Malaysia Leaney, was gone too. Later, the coroner would list her cause of death as complications of maternal gunshot wounds. 2 lives ended in seconds, in the place they should have been safest.
Shot and killed yesterday morning has been ruled a homicide. The Lucas County Coroner's Office says a separate death certificate will be issued for her unborn child, Malaysia Leaney Price. Her death was determined to be a result of complications of maternal gunshot wound. Police say when they responded to a home on Norton Place, they found 34-year-old Tamisha Price suffering from a bullet wound. She was pronounced dead at the scene. No word on any suspects.
The crime scene was intimate. No forced entry, no broken locks, no kicked-in doors.
All because
whoever
he
came in
didn't want
didn't
her to
need to
have
fight
this
their way
baby.
inside.
You know, all because he was a cheater and didn't want her to have this baby because he didn't want the other woman to know. He took the baby life and took her life. Ain't that sad, y'all? That is sad. That is sad. Some of these men need to get themselves together. They really do. Now, it is some women out here that do know that a man is in a relationship and they still mess with him. But all women don't know that. This lady probably thought, he was just hers. They was in a relationship, not knowing about this other woman. And this is just so sad. Her other kids, they hurting. They lost their mother and their sister that they never going to get to meet. Never.
They were let in, or they already knew how to get in. That detail narrowed everything. Detectives began with the people who knew Tamisha best. They spoke with family, friends, neighbors, anyone who had seen her in the past 24 hours. But one name surfaced immediately: Paris James, the father of her unborn child, the man whose relationship with her had been unraveling for months. When questioned, Paris admitted he'd been at the house earlier that evening. He said he'd stopped by to talk, maybe to make peace, but insisted he left before anything happened. He was calm, polite even. He claimed no knowledge of the shooting, no part in her death. But investigators had questions. Too many gaps, too many inconsistencies. They seized his phone. And that's when the digital trail began to form. Detectives traced Paris's phone through the night of January 24th, 2024. Cell tower data showed it pinging near Norton Place around the time Tamisha was killed. But it didn't move alone. Another device, a phone belonging to Jerry Scott, 26, one of Paris's associates, was traveling with it. Together, those two signals told a story no one wanted to believe. After the shooting, both phones moved from Norton Place north across Toledo, ending near Point Place, then deeper still to Manhattan Marsh, a remote stretch of land managed by Metroparks Toledo. A place quiet enough to hide something you never wanted found. For days, detectives searched that area. Nothing. But then, 4 days after the murder, a Metroparks ranger doing a routine patrol noticed something odd, a half-buried object glinting in the winter light. It was a gun, a Glock 19, discarded among the reeds. The weapon was sent to the state lab for testing. Weeks later, results confirmed what everyone feared. It was the murder weapon. The bullets matched the ones pulled from Tamisha's body. The weapon had been fired recently. And its discovery, exactly where those two phones had traveled after the murder, tightened the noose of evidence. Step by step, investigators connected the dots. Messages from Paris pressuring Tamisha about the pregnancy, his visits to her home, the unlocked back door, and now the phone data that placed him and Jerry together at both the scene of the crime and the disposal site. But there was one more piece to the puzzle. Shatwia Triplet, Paris's other girlfriend, 6 months pregnant at the time. She became part of the case almost by accident. When detectives questioned her, she told them Paris had been with her all night. She swore he never left their home, that he couldn't possibly be involved. It sounded like an alibi, until phone records
Truly
told a
blessed.
different story.
Absolutely.
Cell data showed Paris nowhere near her address during the hours of the murder. Shatwia's statement was false. Whether it was loyalty, fear, or denial, she had tried to protect him. That decision would come back to her later, when prosecutors charged her with obstruction of justice for lying to investigators.
Good.
As detectives compiled the case, each thread began to tighten around the same core. This wasn't random violence. It was personal, deliberate, planned. The evidence pointed to one conclusion. Paris James wanted Tamisha gone, and Jerry Scott helped make it happen. By spring of 2024, both men were arrested. Paris faced 2 counts of aggravated murder, one for Tamisha, one for Malaysia, along with aggravated burglary, felonious assault, and tampering with evidence. Jerry Scott faced the same. They were held without bond, awaiting trial. Shatwia Triplet, charged separately, faced 2 counts of obstruction of justice for her false statements to police.
This afternoon, Jerry Scott, Paris James, and Shatwia Triplet all facing charges this afternoon. Scott and James facing aggravated murder charges, Triplet accused of obstructing justice. Investigators say the victim here is Tamisha Price. She was the girlfriend of James and was carrying his child. The shooting happened back in January. The court records claim that James had planned this killing. He's due in court on Wednesday for a preliminary hearing.
Her case would be handled on its own timeline, but the weight of what she'd said or refused to say hung over everything.
According to records, when police spoke to Paris James, who's facing murder charges in connection with the shooting, he admitted he had been at her home and told investigators he was disputing his potential paternity of the child. Police say James gave police a timeline when he was at Price's house, later changed his statement to police.
For Tamisha's family, there was no comfort in the arrests. Tyler and Stacy returned from Hawaii to a world that no longer made sense. Their daughter, gone. Their unborn granddaughter, gone. 2 grandsons now living with the trauma of what they'd seen. Their home filled with grief. Their days divided between court updates and caring for the boys who had lost everything. They held a balloon release for Tamisha and Malaysia, and a funeral for both amidst tears and sorrow. And while the headlines began to fade, investigators kept building. They had texts, they had phone pings, they had a gun. Piece by piece, a story was coming together. One about betrayal, jealousy, and control. A story that began with pink balloons and ended with police tape. And as prosecutors prepared to take that story before a jury, one thing was clear. Tamisha's killers hadn't just taken 2 lives. They'd left behind evidence that spoke louder than any confession ever could. By early 2025, the case against Paris James and Jerry Scott was nearly ready for trial. What had once been fragments, texts, towers, and timelines had become a chain of evidence that pointed to a single story. Still, their defense teams fought hard to pull that chain apart, link by link. In the months leading up to the trial, lawyers filed motion after motion. They argued that there was no eyewitness, no one who could say without doubt who pulled the trigger. They questioned the reliability of cell tower data, pointing to margins of error and technical variables that could shift a phone's recorded location by blocks. They demanded a closer look at how investigators handled raising procedural smoke to make the jury wonder if the foundation of the state's case was as solid as it seemed. Then came a new whisper that made headlines before jury selection even began. Forensic testing had found DNA from another male on the gun used to kill Tamisha.
The attorneys for Paris James and Jerry Scott filed a motion saying they need to investigate the new evidence turned over to them by the prosecutor. According to these court documents filed this month, a piece of evidence in the case tested by BCI found another male's DNA on the murder weapon. It led prosecutors to investigate this person. James and Scott are accused of aggravated murder in the killing of Tamisha Price. There is a third person charged in this case, Shatwaya Triplett. She's charged with obstructing justice. Her attorney says she will not be tried with the men.
I filed a motion to sever her case from the other two defendants on the basis she was just charged with one count of obstruction of justice, and I didn't want that case being tried. My case will be tried after the other two cases are tried.
Triplett is accused of lying to police about the whereabouts of Paris James. Now the defense wants to be able to investigate all this new evidence.
The defense called it proof of reasonable doubt. Prosecutors countered that the weapon could have changed hands, been touched, moved, or handled long before the night of January 24. In the end, it wasn't enough to fracture the prosecution's momentum, but it was enough to plant questions in the public's mind about how juries weigh science against context. When the trial opened in June 2025, the air inside the Lucas County Courthouse was heavy. Family filled the benches. Tamisha's parents, Tyler and Stacy, sitting just feet from the men accused of ending their daughter's life. Her sons were not there. The trauma was too much. The prosecution began with a simple, chilling theory. This was premeditation, built on a foundation of resentment, paternity doubt, and opportunity. They painted the timeline carefully, walking the jury through the last weeks of Tamisha's life, the pregnancy she celebrated, and the texts that turned her joy into evidence. First came the messages, cold, digital imprints of emotion and intent. They showed Paris questioning whether he was the father, pressuring Tamisha to end the pregnancy, then trying to appear supportive once she refused. Prosecutors read them aloud like confessions spread across days, showing how his words shifted from frustration to calculation. Next came the phone data, the backbone of the state's case. Experts from the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation used visual maps, each dot marking a moment in time to show both men's phones moving in sync, from Paris's home to Tamisha's neighborhood, lingering near Norton Place, then later traveling north toward Point Place, and finally to the remote marshland where the Glock 19 was found. Each timestamp aligned with the shots Jaden reported hearing, and the window investigators believed Tamisha was killed. Then the gun itself was introduced, tagged, sealed, photographed. Ballistics experts testified that the bullets recovered from Tamisha's body matched that weapon exactly. And while the defense hammered at the idea of touch DNA and secondary transfer, the visual truth of that firearm sitting in front of the jury was hard to argue away. Finally, Jaden's testimony. Calm, composed, older than his years. He described waking to the sound of gunfire, seeing a shadow move through the hallway, and noticing that same back door, the one always locked, left open. His words were measured, but the room stilled as he spoke. It wasn't just evidence, it was grief turned into memory. The defense countered with a steady refrain, circumstantial isn't certainty. Phones aren't people. Data pings don't pull triggers. They reminded the jury that there were no fingerprints, no eyewitness IDs, no video. They tried to create space for doubt, just enough space for 12 people to hesitate. But every piece of evidence, every witness, and every timeline returned to the same place, the same hour, the same conclusion. Then came the moment no one in the courtroom could brace for. A victim advocate stood to read letters from Tyler and Stacy Price. They spoke of Tamisha's excitement to meet her daughter, of the pink nursery waiting at home, of how Malaysia never had the chance to open her eyes. They spoke of two boys left with trauma and of the hole their family would never fill. It wasn't performance, it was pain laid bare for strangers to understand. When the jury finally withdrew to deliberate, the room felt drained of sound. Hours later, they returned, faces heavy, verdict sheets in hand. Guilty, on all counts.
A Lucas County grand jury convicted two men in the shooting and killing of a pregnant woman. According to the Lucas County Prosecutor's Office, These men, Paris James and Jerry Scott, they were each convicted on 13 counts each of charges including aggravated murder, aggravated burglary, felonious assault, and tampering with evidence. 34-year-old Tamisha Price and her unborn child died in January of last year. Both men will be sentenced later this month.
Both men. The courtroom broke open. Sobs, prayers, silent relief that justice, however incomplete, had found its way. Weeks later, on July 28, 2025, sentencing began. Judge Eric Marks looked at the defendants and called the case what it was: the worst form of violence that could possibly occur. Both men received 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 18 to 23 years for burglary, tampering, and gun enhancements.
The 2 men have been sentenced to life for the 2024 murder of a pregnant woman and her unborn child. Tamisha Price was just about 1 month away from her due date for her daughter Malaysia when she was shot and killed in her home. Megan Harnett joins us in studio. Megan, did either of the men who killed her speak at court today?
Kaylee, neither said anything. Both Paris James and Jerry Scott were found guilty earlier this month of 13 different charges, including aggravated murder, aggravated burglary, and felonious assault. The defense asked the judge for opportunities for redemption, something he decided not to give. Both James and Scott had to sign forms enrolling as violent offenders. Both defense attorneys asked for Judge Marks to appoint counsel for appeals, which must be filed in 30 days. Kaylee?
Megan, James and Scott aren't the only 2 people facing charges in relation to this case. Where do things stand with the third suspect?
The third suspect, Shatoya Triplett, was indicted in March on 2 felony counts of obstructing justice. She's scheduled to be in court for trial on August 19th.
They stood silent, no apologies, no explanations. Paperwork was signed, appeals were noted. Their lives as free men were over. In the back of the courtroom, Tyler and Stacy listened as their words were read once more, this time not as evidence, but as testament. They promised to rebuild what was left, for Jaden, for Lizzie, for the memory of Malaysia. "We will spend the rest of our lives making sure they are restored," one letter said. But justice has its limits. In September 2025, the final thread of the story reached court. Shatoya Triplett, charged with obstruction for lying to police about Paris's whereabouts, stood trial. The evidence seemed clear. Phone records proved her story false. But the jury saw something else. They saw a woman 6 months pregnant at the time, caught between loyalty and fear, and they found her not guilty.
A Lucas County jury has found a woman not guilty in the fatal shooting of a pregnant woman and her unborn child. According to court documents, Shatoya Triplett was found not guilty of 2 counts of obstructing justice.
For Tamisha's family, it was a hollow ending. The law had spoken, but it didn't sound like closure. Months later, at a church in Toledo, Pink returned. Soft, deliberate, bittersweet. 1 casket, 2 names. Mother and daughter, together in rest. The same color that once marked joy, now wrapped around grief. A gospel choir sang. Family and friends filled the pews. When words failed, Jaden spoke through rhythm. Sitting behind his drum kit, he played the same instrument his mother had once recorded with pride. Each beat was heavy. A language of loss that needed no translation.
Wow.
The numbers told a colder story. In the United States, homicide is one of the leading causes of death for pregnant women. Studies show it's most likely to happen in late pregnancy or shortly after birth, often at the hands of intimate partners. It's a statistic that turns names like Tamisha's into warnings. When a partner shows resentment, control, or hostility during pregnancy, it's not just tension, it's danger. The signs are there long before the tragedy: the unlocked door, the silenced arguments, the way fear becomes routine.
Yep.
Now 2 boys grow up carrying what they saw that night. The sounds, the image, the weight of it all. Tyler and Stacy have become both grandparents and guardians, fighting to give them a life where safety means something again. The community helps, but grief is a private teacher. Healing comes slowly, in therapy appointments, in school plays, in birthdays celebrated for the ones who can't attend. And for those listening, the lesson is clear. Red flags ignored don't fade, they multiply.
Absolutely.
Love isn't silence. Protection isn't pretending.
Absolutely.
Tamisha Price and Malaysia Leaney. Say their names with care. Remember that behind every headline like this one is a family rebuilding from ashes, children learning how to sleep through the night again, and a community left to ask why we keep losing mothers at the moment they should be holding life in their arms. Honor them by learning the signs, sharing the warnings, and never looking away. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We upload new true crime content daily, covering cases you know and many you don't. Stick with us as we bring you more stories that deserve to be heard. See.
Woo, yo. Ooh, Lord. Only because he didn't want that woman to know that he had another baby on the way. And then you get your friends involved. You know what I'm saying? You put your friends involved. That's something they had nothing to do with, to kill your own baby mama. Like, what type of friends was that? Oh, he unalived her because she was pregnant and he didn't want the other baby mama to know. And he was claiming that he had doubts if the baby was his. But he knew that baby was his. But the thing is, he didn't want the main chick to know that she was pregnant. That's what it was. Yep, sickening. Just sickening. You know, I mean, okay, Latte, no problem. We just got to be careful, y'all. Look at them red flags. Like he just said, and I said it before. Those red flags don't go away. They multiply, honey. And don't ever think you can try to fix a toxic man, because it's not going to happen. Okay? It's just not going to happen. That's why I say, you know, I wish and pray that when Ramika started seeing those red flags in Carlos, I wish you'd have got away early on, you know, and she'll still be with us today. But sometimes when you stay with a toxic man and, you know, I ain't going to say love, because that doesn't be love. You know, when they get into your mind and brainwash you and manipulate you and gaslight you, you do think that's love for some people, you know, that really doesn't know. And, you know, and it goes on and on and on, and it just build. And that's what happened too. I'm telling you. You telling the whole truth right here, Miss D. Yep. You cannot change a toxic man. You cannot. When you see a red flag in a toxic man, baby, just get your shit and go. Okay? But I always say, please, if y'all are living together, try to, you know, not argue with him, like telling him you're leaving him and stuff like that, because that can agitate it even more. You might not even get out safe. So if you can start saving your money, you know, moving little things out here and there, so, you know, it won't be seen. You know, if you're going to try to get your own place, try to go towns over where he won't know where you at. You know, if you got children, change the children's schools. You know, do what you got to do to protect yourself. Leave his ass in that house. Don't try to put him out and stay there. Because sometimes they comes back because you don't put them out. They're angry. They're thinking you was somebody else. You know, and things can get, you know, ugly. So, okay, D, that's just sick and stupid. Yup. Of those men, they just weak as hell. I tell you, funny. The judge felt sorry for her due to she was pregnant. That's the judge's problem now. That's why we got a lot of crime out here in this world today too, because a lot of these judges set back and let these convicted felonies keep coming home. Just like in that Scott case. That man should have never been able to come home, and they should have never dropped charges on that man, even though that victim did not show up to court. They should have continued with that case, and this girl would be here right today. So a lot of these judges is making some stupid decisions out here too. And some of them need probably being reevaluated. To be honest, I'm just saying how I feel about it. You know, she sat there and lied. He was with me, girl, bye. You see, he done cheated on you, girl. What the fuck is you talking about? He done cheated on you. Shit. You should have been on that woman's side. He took that woman's life. You should have been on that woman's side. There's no way in hell that you should have been on this man's side. I'm just being honest. She shouldn't have been on that man's side. He took a pregnant woman's life, okay? And you on this man's side, it's just no way. No way. It's sad. It's sickening. You know, more things need to get better out here with these court systems. That's just my opinion, y'all, how I feel. You know, everybody may feel a little different, but I feel like some of this court stuff need to be looked at better than what it's looked at. Stop letting these offenders come home, you know, and when these men started, you know, getting all these catching all these charges, beating on women, and you let these men come home, that don't make no sense. That's sad. Well, y'all, I'm going to get up off of here. I hope y'all enjoyed today. But before we get up out of here, y'all, I'm going to leave y'all with something right quick. So just hang on here. We're going to take this out with Ramika. So just give me a second here to bring it up. Oh, let me see. Hold on, give me a second. Trying to see, can I bring it up? Hold on.
It's hard for me to tell you I love you as I'm standing over your grave, and I know I'll never hear your voice again. Why did you leave me? Why couldn't you just stay? Because my world is not. It's hard for me to tell you I love you as I'm standing over your grave, and I know I'll never hear your voice again. Why did you leave me? Why couldn't you just stay? Because my world is not. It's hard for me to
Rest
tell
in
you
peace,
I
baby
love
girl. Rest in
you as I'm
peace.
standing over your grave, and I know I'll never hear your voice again. Why did you leave me? Why couldn't you just stay? Because my world is not.
She's beautiful, y'all. She's beautiful. She is beautiful. My God. May God rest her soul in peace. You know, man. Lord Jesus, boy, I tell you, it's a lot to think about, y'all. It's a lot. Thank you, Auntie. You do the same. I hope everybody enjoy for today. I enjoyed y'all. Yes, rest in peace, Ramika. We love you, girl. We hope justice be served with you, and we will always keep you alive no matter what. No matter what, beauty. You are a beautiful woman. Yes, yes. So have a great day, everyone, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed today commentary, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You have a great day too. Everybody have a wonderful day. Please stay prayed up, y'all. Always remember to keep God first in everything that you do out here in life. When you get up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, always remember to keep God first. And I definitely will see you guys. And for the ones that donated a coffee to me, I want to say thank you so much. Have a great day, Miss D, and everyone. You do the same, baby. And I will definitely see you guys tomorrow with more commentary. And I love you guys. Peace and love.